3 World Cup semi-finals in a row for England's women. Can the European champions take the next step on their incredible journey and reach the final for the first time? Australia stand in their way on home turf, and as the only team to beat Sarina Wiegman's Lionesses in her reign, it's set to be a classic down under.
With each and every game, the stakes get higher and higher. And after the drama of Australia's penalty shootout win over France earlier on,
and she puts it past the keeper, and Australia are now just one game away from a place in the World Cup final. The co-hosts have beaten France.
We know it's going to be an extremely tough semi-final, but with amazing support from our amazing fans, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. So I'm also very, very excited.
The Lionesses know that they'll meet the co-hosts in the semi-final if they can beat Colombia this evening in Sydney. It may be put over, it is! Hemp equalises for England! Opportunity for Russo, inside the penalty area, finds the corner! Alessia Russo for England!
We've shown a lot of resilience, we've shown we are adaptable, and I hope we can show that again tomorrow and play our best game, which makes the chance of winning us higher.
For us as players, it's, getting the right mindset, getting ready for that game and doing absolutely everything we can to come out on top.
The Lionesses are down under for the 2023 World Cup, and they are in it to win it.
I mean, I'm here for it. Men at Work drum and bass version of Land Down Under. Thank you very much for that. This is Women's World Cup Live on Talksport 2. I'm Faye Carruthers. Thanks for being with us for this last 4 clash at a raucous Stadium Australia in Sydney. I know you've been loving live knockout football in the morning as much as we have, and this tournament has been such a delight. 2 more games for the Lionesses to make more history and lift a World Cup for England for the first time since 1966. They need to get past Australia first, though, so let's find out how both teams are going to line up and say a very good morning to your match commentator, Joe Shannon.
Good morning, Faye. Here we go. 90 plus minutes in Sydney, separating England's women from a first World Cup final. And as you say, the first for any England senior team since 1966. The task ahead of the Lionesses tonight in Sydney is a potentially daunting one. The co-hosts Australia have captured the hearts of a jubilant nation, and they are also eyeing up their first ever World Cup final appearance. They're also the only team to have beaten England under Sarina Wiegman, albeit that was in a friendly back in April. The Lionesses' boss has named an unchanged side. For the first time this tournament today, Lauren James remains suspended, but she will be available if England reach the final. Mary Earps in goal, Jess Carter, Millie Bright, Alex Greenwood the centre-halves, Lucy Bronze and Rachel Daly are the wing-backs, Kira Walsh and Georgia Stanway in midfield, with Etta Toone in the 10 role behind Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo, both of whom were on the score sheets in the quarter-final victory over Colombia. Well, for Australia, the big news is that all-time leading scorer and skipper Sam Kerr starts for the first time at this World Cup, having now fully recovered from a pre-tournament injury. She replaces Emily Van Egmond up front, while Clara Polkinghorne starts at centre-half for Australia, with Manchester City's Alana Kennedy unwell, we are told. Mackenzie Arnold of West Ham United in goal, Ellie Carpenter, Claire Hunt, Claire Polkinghorne and Steph Catley of Arsenal at the back. Hayley Rasso, who used to play for Manchester City, Katrina Gorry, Kyra Cooney-Cross and Caitlin Ford of Arsenal in midfield, with Manchester City's Mary Fowler and Chelsea's Sam Kerr seeking her 64th international goal up front for Australia.
Thank you very much, Joe. I'm sure she's going to be seeking her 64th, 65th and 66th, Sam Kerr, starting for the Matildas. Alongside Joe, World Cup bronze medalist Leanne Sanderson. Morning. You can tell I'm excited, can't you, Leanne? And a little bit nervous. How are you feeling?
Oh, Faye, do you know what? I'm super excited for this game. Genuinely, I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm sure I'm getting on Charlotte and Joe's nerves already, because I've come in with an extra spring in my step this morning, and I just can't wait for this game. After what we saw yesterday, 3 goals in the last 10 minutes, and then now, this game today doesn't get much bigger than this. And I played in 2015 in the semi-final, and I remember how that felt before the Japan game, and everybody, and those feelings of nerves and the butterflies, and these are the games you live to play in.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, we've got live commentary here on Talksport 2 kicking off at 11 o'clock. Charlotte Richardson is going to be bringing you updates over on Talksport as well. Leanne, it's the first unchanged lineup for Sarina Wiegman this tournament. We thought she might do that the whole way through, bearing in mind what she did at the Euros. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we did think that. I mean, I've obviously questioned Ella Toon's role within this team during this tournament, but I've always said in Sarina we trust. I sound like a stuck record when I say that, but she always gets it right. You know, tactically, I think whenever there's been anything thrown at them, she said about them being adaptable in the press conference, and I think that's for sure the case. Like when Kira Walsh went out, Laura Coombs came back in. You know, Katie Zellum started her first game in a World Cup, did amazingly well. So they're a real team. I think, you know, I expected maybe potentially there to be a couple of changes, but I'm loving this back three. I think it'll be interesting to see how they contain Sam Kerr, because it was obviously questionable if she was going to start in this game, having that calf injury, and there was rumours yesterday that calf was also strapped up heavily with ice and those types of things. So it'll be interesting to see how far she can go, but I'm delighted for Sam that she can actually play, although from an England perspective I'm not. We want to see the best players playing on the world stage, and to be in our home country and to have not been able to start in any of these games, I really felt for her. So I think it's going to be a really difficult game for England, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I have to say, Millie Bright and Jess Carter know Sam Kerr better than anyone. So defensively, I feel a little bit more comfortable about that. However, I was very surprised to see her start. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know whether it's a statement of intent from Tony Gustafsson, their manager, or a mistake, bearing in mind she's not played 90 minutes in this tournament, and this could go all the way.
Yeah, I think it's Sam Kerr though, isn't it? It's what you do. I mean, if you've got your best players available, you want to play them. I think the Australians and Matildas have shown they can get to this point without her. But having said that, in the first game against Republic of Ireland, they were quite fortunate to come away with that 1-0 win. So I think, you know, I'm loving that she can play. I'm delighted for her. But it'll be interesting. If I was Emily Van Egmond, I'd be quite disappointed. But it is Sam Kerr, and if she's available, you play her. But I think there's in the back line, you know, Alana Kennedy's unavailable for this game, and Claire Polkenhorn's come in there. I think that's something we can definitely capitalise on for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. What's the most interesting matchup for you? Because there's exciting matchups across the pitch, but what are you highlighting?
You know, I think for me personally, I think down that left side, Steph Catley and Caitlin Ford are so formidable getting up and down, and it'll be interesting to see what Lucy Bronze does and Jess Carter. I agree with you, Faye, in that back three. I think they've been brilliant in the last game, especially Alex Greenwood, Millie Bright and Jess Carter have been sensational. They really have. And I think down that left-hand side, they'll cause a lot of problems. So it'll be interesting to see if Alessia Russo has to also drop in. But I'm absolutely loving the Lauren Hebb and Alessia Russo partnership that they have up top. I don't think any of us saw that one coming. And I think that goes into what Sarina Wiegman can do. And I'm sure she had it in the back of her mind, in her back pocket, and she didn't think she'd probably have to use it during the World Cup. And she has, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been a delight to watch. And actually, I tell you what I'm really chuffed with watching is fan parks all across the UK with outdoor screens, people on football bean bags and all sorts watching the Lionesses. It's a sold-out Stadium Australia as well, and they're waiting to find out whether England or the co-hosts Australia are going to be heading into Sunday's World Cup final against Spain. Outside the ground, Talksport's Alex Biddle's been speaking to some locals to get their predictions ahead of this match.
I'm nervous ahead of this one.
G'day, mate. You're going to get smashed. 2-1. Aussie girls are going to smash ya.
Confident.
Yeah, very confident. Light work.
We're just all behind them. There's just so many Aussies here, as you can see.
Our rivalry's huge. We stole the Ashes off you in your own country, and now we'll probably win the World Cup here. So
I've seen 2 bombs here. Actually, there's a third one just there.
1-0 Australia. Sam Kerr, anytime goal scorer.
I think it's a bloodbath. I'm picking about 5-0, 6-0. Thank you. Let's go.
I mean, the world. Australia will erupt. Australia will erupt, and then straight to the finals, and then smash that too. So, yeah.
Well, of course the Aussies are confident. They always are, aren't they? But, you know, be careful with that confidence. The Lionesses are coming out there. Just under 20 minutes to kick off as England look to book a place in the World Cup final for the first time in their history. You're listening to the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 semi-finals on Talksport 2 in association with Xero small business accounting software. Dream bigger.
Sisters are doing it for themselves.
Absolutely sensational. The FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 live on Talksport 2.
And the goalkeeper's dropped it. It may be Pantone. It is. Hemp equalises for England.
I think Australia have got some great players. They're playing really well. They're aggressive. They play a really direct style of football.
Opportunity for Russo inside the penalty area. the corner! Alessia Russo for England! The Lionesses have turned it around!
Obviously, it's the ultimate aim that everyone wants to achieve. There's 4 teams left in the tournament, so we can't put ourselves a step ahead of anyone.
The Lionesses go roaring into the last 4, and they are into the semi-finals for a 3rd successive World Cup.
You're listening to the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 semi-finals on Talksport 2 in association with Xero small business accounting software. Dream bigger. Faker Ruthers with you this morning, building up to this huge semi-final clash between England and Australia in Sydney. It's time to get the latest odds with 888 Sport. Good morning, Will Gavin. What are the odds to this one?
Morning, Faker Others. Got incredibly excited for this one. Now we're so close to kick-off. Can't wait to be listening to the coverage. It's 2 teams who've kept a lot of clean sheets in this tournament. Australia have kept 4 clean sheets in their 5 matches. England only conceding twice, and a tight affair is expected. A draw could very well be on the cards this afternoon. That's set at 2-1 right now with 888 Sport. Australia are set at 12-5. England are the favourites at 13-10, as they do sit as one of the favourites for the tournament. But one player, as we've been hearing about, who is into the lineup now is Sam Kerr, and she's very well favoured in the goal scorer market. 11-5 second favourite any time, and alongside Alessia Russo, 11-2 favourite first goal scorer. But this is how tight we think it might be. No goal scorer is also 11-2.
Wow.
So look, we are expecting it to be a tight, tense affair, maybe decided by the odd goal, maybe low scoring, but it promises to be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Will. Those were the latest odds with 888 Sport. Gamble responsibly, 18+, begambleaware.org. Our England reporter, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, is in Stadium Australia. We're around about 15 minutes from kickoff. I mean, it sounds really loud in there, Courtney. What's it like?
Yeah, it certainly is. They've actually just put Sweet Caroline on for a bit, which I was quite surprised about. But yeah, it was a wonderful atmosphere outside the stadium. I must admit, I was struggling to find England fans. It's few and far between in the stadium as well. There's a little pocket of friends and family just behind the England dugout, but aside from that, it's really a sea of yellow and green, as you'd imagine.
Yeah, you would, but I think it was interesting listening to your interviews with Alessia Russo and Serena Wiegmann in the week, talking about the fact that they almost had a little bit of a warm-up to that against Colombia, because there were so many more Colombia fans in the quarter-final than there were England fans.
Yeah, definitely. It was again a great atmosphere, but heavily weighted for the Colombians. And I think I was speaking to Millie Bright as well. She very much thrives on that. I think a lot of the girls thrive on it. And actually, this crowd could go against Australia. Not necessarily that they'll get on their backs, but I think England have got so much more experience in this sort of arena, where I think this, it could weigh heavy on the Matildas today.
I was talking to Leanne Sanderson about Sam Kerr. I was really surprised to see her start, because she's not had 90 minutes of football. How's she looking in the warm-ups?
Yeah, she looks sharp in terms of fitness. 75 minutes, I believe, she's played across the tournament. But I must admit, she didn't look quite as sharp in the shooting as I anticipated, or looking at that. And I think it's difficult, especially with a calf injury, and the way that Sam Kerr plays. She's very strong, she's very explosive and powerful. So the type of injury that she's had, I don't know whether maybe in the back of her mind she's sort of holding back. And as you say, I was surprised to see her. Especially with the prospect of extra time, you'd maybe try and bring her on as an impact, but they must be confident that she can get through it.
Yeah, that's what I wondered. That they're also going to have, they've been brilliant in terms of clean sheets. You heard Will Gavin there giving us the odds, and they've had 4 clean sheets in the tournament so far, but no Alana Kennedy, which is going to be a huge miss. But we know what Claire Polkinghorne can do.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a huge blow, and especially just purely for the fact of whoever it is, when you probably know the squad the night before, you're going through everything, and then for it to change that shortly before a game, it's always disappointing. The noise is going through the roof here. Yeah, as I can imagine you can hear. But yeah, I think, look, it's an ideal scenario. You wouldn't want that to happen, but as you say, they've got more than adept players to step in, and yeah, I think they'll be fine in that sense.
Well, good luck being able to hear our commentary in the stadium. It sounds absolutely incredible. We'll speak to you soon, Courtney. Courtney caught up with the England manager Serena Wiegmann before the match and started asking her about the team's preparations ahead of such a big game.
Preparations have gone well. Of course, we recovered really well. Took some time, and straightforward also to get prepared for tomorrow. So we had the last training session. Everyone's on the pitch. Everyone's fit to play. And yes, we're ready for tomorrow and very excited for tomorrow.
And in terms of who's going into this favourites, sat in the Australia press conference, they seem to think the Lionesses are favourites. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think that could go both ways. I think they're favourite because they're at home soil. They have a big crowd behind them. So, of course, everyone wants them to win. Not everyone. But and I think we all know that we have a very strong squad too. And we have shown a lot of resilience. We have shown we are adaptable. And I hope we can show that again tomorrow and play our best game, which makes the chance of winning us higher.
In terms of Colombia, I think it was a great experience for the girls. It almost felt like an away game from where we were sat. So do you think that will stand the players in good stead for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that was a great practice for tomorrow because that felt like an away game and we used it also that way. And we were pretty excited about that too. And we expect that tomorrow too. I think our players have experience to play for big crowd in front of big crowds. Also, of course, home last year, but also in Champions League they have experienced big crowds away and home. So I do think we are ready for that.
The England manager Serena Wiegman speaking to our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. The light show has started at Stadium Australia. It's absolutely packed out, a capacity crowd 81,000 and sold out, and very golden green, I would say. Green and gold, sorry, I should say it the other way around. I've been having a banter, in inverted commas, with my cousin who is Australian. She was desperate for me to watch the game with her, Leanne Sanderson, but we're watching it instead from here, and it's going to be some atmosphere, that's for sure. But having played in a semi-final, as you mentioned previously, do you feel as if this England side, having never reached a World Cup final, is that playing on their minds at all, that they could make that next step of history yet again?
I think so, to a certain degree, but I think after the silverware we won last summer, I think once you get a little bit of a taste of it, you want more. And I think we saw that against Colombia at the final whistle. There was no celebrations. They kind of was walking around the field, but you could see Kira Walsh was thinking, we need to be better. And I love that expectation from the players. Enjoy the moment, but don't get carried away. And I think they know during this tournament they haven't had their best games. Apart from against China, but I thought China were quite underwhelming. But you can't ask so much. Well, we topped the group, we're in the semi-final. I think sometimes, when you're in camp and those things happen where you don't want to revisit things that didn't go well, you kind of try to put them in the back of your mind and you think, okay, you don't start saying we've never been there. You want to get there. So I think there's no better time than now. I think the players have come to the conclusion that they're resilient. I think their mentality beats now. I genuinely believe that with Serena Wiegman, and I think they can do anything, genuinely. I think there's a different mentality within this team.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's the didgeridoo, which is always the warning, isn't it, that the players are about to get themselves in the tunnel. I know, very clever. Why don't we hear from England captain Millie Bright while we're there? And she earlier on spoke to England's Talksport's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
I think our previous game, like you said, we got a taste for it, and in those moments, fans give you energy. When you hear the cheering, the chanting, the boos, whatever that looks like, it's all part of the game. And for me, especially as a player, but for us as a team, we really do get energy from that. So, really looking forward to seeing the crowd tomorrow, and ultimately that's what we want in the game. At a World Cup semi-final, you want the crowd to be buzzing, and I think it's credit to Australia. Like I said, the tournament so far has been absolutely amazing, and we don't want anything less than a full crowd and a great atmosphere. I think it shows the growth of the game.
Going into the game, there's arguments saying Australia are the favourite, the home crowd, England are favourites because of the sort of FIFA rankings and stuff like that. How do you see it, or do you even bother seeing it like that? Is it just about the game in front of you?
Yeah, honestly, hand on heart, it's just the game in front of us. Listen, everyone's got opinions, everyone's got favourites. That is football, that's life, and I think everyone's entitled to that. But for us as players, it's, getting the right mindset, getting ready for that game, and doing absolutely everything we can to come out on top.
Well, that mindset as well is, come on, we need a little bit of revenge against the Aussies, surely. I mean, the only side, Leanne Sanderson, to beat England under Serena Wiegman's vein. And I know she didn't know about the sporting rivalry between the two countries, but come on, there's an edge on this one, isn't there?
There is an edge, and I think, it's quite interesting to see all the back page and front page in Australia talking about the Ashes and those types of things. I think in the back of your mind, you are thinking that's the only team that's beaten us. But I do think individually, if you look at the 11 versus the 11, I think individually we are better. but we have to just implement the game plan, manage the games, manage the emotions. I think that's the thing about it. But these players now know and have done, playing at Wembley in front of a sold out Wembley Stadium at the Euros, they can do this, and they've done it against Colombia. Mostly Colombian fans at the last game, and they overcame that game, and I believe they can genuinely do this today.
They look focused, but they also look relaxed, and that's going to be vital going into what is going to be a hostile crowd at Stadium Australia. In the last month, Australia have beaten England to win the Ashes. They've pipped England to gold at the Netball World Cup. Can the Lionesses make sure it's not 3 in a row for the green and gold as England look to waltz past the Matildas into the Women's World Cup final? Strap yourselves in, it's going to be some ride in Sydney. Enjoy it if you can here on Talksport 2 in the company of Leanne Sanderson and Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Faye. Good morning, everyone. It's a sporting rivalry that historically we associate with the Ashes, triumphs and failures of years gone by, or World Cup battles in netball, or maybe even Johnny Wilkinson's drop goal in the Rugby World Cup final of 20 years ago. But as the Women's World Cup 2023 reaches crunch time, Australia v England is centre stage for a semi-final tie like no other. The co-hosts are riding high on the hopes of a nation, but the Lionesses know all about that. Serena Wiegmann's European champions are into the Lions' Den here at Stadium Australia in Sydney to do what they've never done before and reach a World Cup final. It would be the first senior England side to achieve that feat since the great Sir Alf Ramsey side that went all the way back in 1966. The two sides stand astride the halfway line, 75,000 looking on at Stadium Australia, the floodlights on too, and before kick-off we will pause for the national anthems of both nations. This one is going to be belted out, the national anthem of Australia. England first of all. England vastly outnumbered in terms of fans in the crowd, but certainly not in terms of spirit. Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, is here. And now, the national anthem of Australia. You're about to hear quite a noise in Sydney. Has been cancelled in Australia. People have cleared the decks to watch this semi-final all over the country, and great noise from those in green and gold here at the magnificent Stadium Australia. But England are here to spoil the party. That's all the Lionesses care about today, reaching a first ever World Cup final. The two sides, England, are unchanged for the first time this tournament. Mary Earps in goal, Jess Carter, Millie Brighton, Alex Greenwood the centre halves, Lucy Bronze and Rachel Daly the wing backs, Edda Toon, Kira Walsh and Georgia Stanway in midfield, Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo up front. For Australia, Sam Kerr starts, her first start of the tournament for Australia's all-time leading goal scorer, Chelsea legend Sam Kerr. Claire Polkinghorne returns to the centre of defence. Australia have Arnold in goal, Carpenter, Hunt, Polkinghorne and Catley the back four, Rasso, Gorry, Cooney Cross and Ford in midfield, Kerr and Fowler up front. Lots of familiar names to WSL fans in this Aussie starting 11. But of course, as Serena Wiegmann and Kira Walsh have hinted in the build-up, it's a different kind of pressure playing in front of an expectant home crowd. It's a pressure that the Lionesses negotiated so successfully at the Euros last summer, Leanne Sanderson. Now the Lionesses are into the Lions' den. Can they cope with that kind of pressure this time and reach a World Cup final?
Yeah, I think they are. It's almost like last summer was a dress rehearsal, winning the European Championship. People come up to me on the street, Joe, and they say, Leanne, we're going to win the World Cup. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. And I say it time and time again. This is going to be difficult. You know, the fact that it's in Australia, we know how much last year having that home field advantage and having the fans on your side, we played our way into becoming favourites during the Euros, and I think the Australians have certainly done that. Coming into the World Cup, Australia weren't not the favourites to win. You know, it was the USA and those types of teams, but I'm really excited for this one.
England are in their change kit today of all blue, and Australia in the green and gold. The floodlights are on. It's just coming up to 8 o'clock local time in Sydney, and there are 90 minutes between the Lionesses and a World Cup final. Trailblazers at the Euros. This now truly the biggest stage. Can England deliver? It's Australia here in Sydney in the last four, with England out to make history and make the World Cup final for the very first time. The first time any England side would reach a World Cup final since 1966. And we are about to get off and underway here on Talksport 2. Commentary of the final on Sunday, whether England are there or not. But of course, Sarina Wiegman's team have only lost one match in the entirety of her time in charge. 37 matches, that ironically was to Australia in a friendly back in April. The Lionesses against the Matildas. Australia in a huddle ahead of kick-off. England ready to go. Strap yourselves in. It could be some wide. 90 minutes, 120 minutes if we need extra time. Penalties if required as well. Both nations have come through penalty shootouts at this tournament. Australia in the quarterfinals, England at the round of 16. Whatever happens, we'll bring you every kick on Talksport 2. And the waiting is finally over. The semi-final, Australia against England. England in that all-blue change kit with the dark blue socks and the lighter shirts and shorts, playing from right to left to get us off and underway. Australia gold shirts, green shorts, white socks, left to right. Millie Bright with an immediate touch for England and a booming ball high upfield, headed away by Polkinghorne at the heart of the Australia back line. Leanne Sanderson, former England striker, alongside myself, Joe Shannon, for commentary. And the Lionesses have proven, Leanne, at the tournament so far, they can handle pressure, they can handle adversity.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've handled everything thrown in front of them. You know, against Colombia, conceding in open play for the first time in the tournament. They came from behind, they showed that resilience, and they've had injuries during this tournament, along to Kira Walsh and those types of players, and they overcame that. I think the Sarina Wiegman team is just set up to succeed, and I absolutely love her, and I think she's integral in their success.
Sam Kerr has been found straight away inside the centre circle by England's Kira Walsh, who stretched out one of those legs and dropped Kerr to the ground. Kerr wearing the captain's armband for Australia. Played 2 matches at this tournament, both substitute appearances. This finally her first start of the tournament. A minute gone in the semi-final. Australia 0, England 0. Live on Talksport 2, and Australia have a free kick in the centre circle. Claire Hunt takes it short, plays a simple ball forward to her teammates Gorry, and now the ball out on the far side, the left, with Steph Catley of Arsenal and Australia. A clip ball high down the left-hand channel. Millie Bright of Chelsea gets in front of her club teammate Kerr and heads it out of play for an Australia throw on the far side, deep into England territory. Stadium Australia is full tonight. The vast majority, of course, are Australian supporters. There aren't quite as many England flags, crosses of St George, as we saw earlier in the tournament, but Sarina Wiegman, the England boss, wrapped up warm in a puffy jacket. Remember, we're in the middle of the Australian midwinter, is looking very calm in the technical area at the moment, Leanne. And why not, given her major tournament record?
Absolutely, and I think during this tournament, I think everybody expected the Lionesses to just completely annihilate teams. It hasn't worked out that way apart from against China, but I'm okay with them topping the group and getting to this point. You know, we spoke about the first game against Haiti. I think you have to have a little bit of luck as well. We're lucky that Haiti, ranked 53rd in the world, didn't beat us, but look at where we are. Similar to Australia in the first game against Republic of Ireland, they're lucky to have won that game. So I think you make your own luck in football, as cliche as that sounds, but I'm really excited for today. I think Alana Kennedy not being able to play in this game and Claire Polkinghorne coming in, I think definitely Alessia Russo and Lauren Hemp can really make the most of that situation, because Alana Kennedy will be a massive loss to the Australians.
That's for Milanese Leanne Sanderson. Spain await the winners in the final after their dramatic 2-1 victory over Sweden yesterday in a game that we brought you live on Talksport 2. Australia 0, England 0 is the latest score, very early stages of the second semi-final. Australia have the ball in their right back position, and it's Ellie Carpenter, twice a Champions League winner with Lyon, winning a throw right in front of the Australia dugout. The Australia head coach is a Swede, Tony Gustafsson, and he was very vocal in his pre-match mind games, if you like, saying that the Lionesses are massive favourites. I don't think anybody really thinks that's the reality. Australia with the home advantage and plenty of top players in their ranks. England, though, will stay composed. Here is Millie Bright, middle of the three England centre-halves, and England have stuck with the back three once again tonight. That is no great surprise, having begun the tournament with a back four, but it didn't take long for Serena Wiegmann to relatively quickly shuffle the pack. Lauren James suspended again tonight, but if England were to reach the final, then she would be available once more. Here is Bright, midway inside her own half the field. Not even token pressure from the Australians in green and gold. As I say, it's a rivalry that transcends cricket and rugby and women's netball, but today it's a footballing rivalry. The ball on the halfway line with England's Rachel Daly. Scoops the ball infield from the left-hand side. It's chested down by Hemp. Hemp has knocked that straight out of play. Alatoon can't reach it. Australia throw right back position. Australia 0, England 0. 4 minutes played.
Yeah, I'm definitely loving this back three. I think Carter, Millie Bright and Alex Green were exceptional in the game against Colombia, so I'm glad that they kept this back three. Be interesting to see if they adapt to it, though, with regards to Caitlin Ford getting a bit higher, and Mary Fowler as well, and Sam Kerr. It looks like Mary Fowler's kind of in the 10 role in this game.
England have not lost a competitive match since the last World Cup, and the third place playoff defeat against Sweden in July of 2019. So much live football across the Talksport network this season. 450 live commentaries. Friday night, Nottingham Forest against Sheffield United in the Premier League on Talksport. Leeds against West Brom here on 2. Saturday, Plymouth against Southampton. Plymouth back in the Championship. Southampton relegated last season. Live on Talksport 2 at 12:30. 3 o'clock on Talksport. Wolves against Brighton in the Premier League. Plus goals as they go in elsewhere. And then Manchester City against Newcastle. City still reeling from the injury to Kevin De Bruyne, no doubt. And the Monday night football on Talksport. We'll see Crystal Palace take on Arsenal. We are your home of live football, and the build-up and reaction to every game underway every weekday morning on Talksport Breakfast from 6 a.m. Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend in the hot seat every Monday and Tuesday until December, when Jeff Stelling will join Talksport Breakfast alongside Ali, and Alan Brazil Wednesday to Friday as ever on Talksport Breakfast and White and Jordan from 10 till 1. It's the best lineup on national radio. Here is Greenwood for England. Back to Bright, 0-0 against Australia. Quite a tepid start to the semi-final so far. No great tempo to the exchanges, and both sides, I think, just playing a rather cautious game and feeling each other out. And of course, it's not that long since they met at the Brentford Community Stadium, the G-Tech, in April, and Australia run that friendly, England's only defeat under Serena Wiegmann.
Yeah, now certainly will be in the back of the players' mind to a certain degree, but this is a semi-final, completely different magnitude. You know, a friendly's a friendly and you want to win every game you go into, but I'm interested to see today, because I think individually we are better all over the field of play, but I think this Australian team, they definitely have stars. You know, Sam Kerr, Caitlin Ford, Steph Catley, I think, has had a brilliant tournament, and Mary Fowler as well. So they've got players that will want to stand up, and similar to the Lionesses putting, you know, our country on the map, the Australians are doing it in Australia as well.
They are riding the crest of a wave, this Australian side. Little flick by Russo downfield towards Hemp, midway inside the Australia half. Might open up here for Alatoon, 25 yards from goal. Quickly dispossessed by Katrina Gorry, and Gorry will drive the ball high downfield. There might be a chance for Kerr. The flag has stayed down. Kerr is through. Good save by Earps with her feet. And England look towards the assistant referee, and I think the flag has now gone up. It has. It was one of those late flags where the assistant just made sure that the phase of play was completed. Kerr was offside. Nonetheless, Earps made a good stop. Still Australia 0, England 0.
All day long that was offside, and those are the ones that don't have to play out the action, but that's one of those ones. It was clearly offside. You can see Jess Carter having to chase after Sam Kerr. And those things frustrate me because it's almost like a player's going to get injured doing that. You can see Sam Kerr was about 2 or 3 yards offside in that motion. But again, England still need to maintain that high line to stop those balls from going in behind, but clearly offside.
A calf injury before the tournament for Sam Kerr, but she starts for Australia tonight at Stadium Australia in Sydney. The raucous backing of 75,000 for the Australian side. 7.5 minutes played, and really neither goalkeeper's been tested as yet because, of course, Kerr was offside in the build-up. England with Millie Bright in the centre circle, driving the ball long, headed away by Steph Catley for Australia. It loops up into the middle of the Australia half. England pick it back up with Lucy Bronze. On to Russo. Russo, who got the winner in the quarter-final victory over Colombia. That comeback victory for England, and they showed such great character, having gone a goal down. And even though England have not played perhaps as fluently as they did at times in the Euros, certainly, results are all that matter at major tournaments, and England have been picking them up time and time again. They're into yet another semi-final, a third consecutive semi-final at a World Cup. Here is Rachel Daly, the number 9, midway inside opposition territory. Crowd quietens momentarily in Sydney. Forward by Greenwood, over the top. That's a brilliant ball. Georgia Stanway through! Saved by Mackenzie Arnold. What a pass! And Stanway couldn't finish. Arnold made a sprawling save. Huge chance for England, still 0-0.
What a fantastic ball from Alex Greenwood. Absolutely pinpoint. Georgia Stanway has to score there. I think, you could also look to the right-hand side. You can see Alessia Russo was there. I think she's going to shoot there from that situation, but just snatches at it. Not really much composure. Has to go bottom right, has to. But fantastic ball from Alex Greenwood.
Mackenzie Arnold of West Ham made the good save. It's the first quarter of the semi-final. It's to England. It's Greenwood to deliver out swinging up into the 6-yard box. Up goes Alessia Russo, headed away, comes back to Georgia Stanway, still inside the 6-yard box. Australia struggled to clear. Head hits it on the half volley. That's blocked as well. Australia really scrambling. Golden shirts standing in front of England, between them and the goal, and it's gone behind for another England corner. The Lionesses piling on the pressure.
Wow, every single player, inside that 18-yard box. It was certainly scrappy. The ball could have fallen anywhere.
Live on Talksport 2. Rachel Daly will take the England throw. Squaring infield to Toon with the orange boots on. Toon nudges it towards the corner of the penalty area. Cleared by Australia and Manchester City's Mary Fowler. And then Kerr is tripped, Kerr is fouled, and a yellow card straight out of the pocket of the referee for Alex Greenwood, who must have deemed that a cynical foul, the American referee Tori Penso. 0-0 with 10 minutes played, and I tell you what, it was a poor challenge by Greenwood.
Yeah, that was absolutely terrible. What a terrible tackle. When I first saw it, I thought, and then I thought, when I've seen it back, it's one of those ones where it's almost like, let's put one on, Sam Kerr. She's carrying that injury. It is in the back of players' minds, as much as people don't tell you that. That's the reality, and that was a pretty reckless tackle from Alex Greenwood, who's had a fantastic tournament, but for sure a yellow card. Good refereeing.
We'll go to our England reporter, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, for her reaction to the opening stages in just a few moments. But Australia on the attack in the semi-final. Catley with a looping cross, headed away by Greenwood, up to the edge of the England penalty area, smuggled further clear by Jess Carter. That was the first sign of danger for the Lionesses in this last 4 ties so far, and that had many of the thousands in Australia colours out of their seats here at Stadium Australia. There may be a big gap between the stands and the field of play. There's a huge running track, but certainly no let-up in the atmosphere. So Australia 0, England 0. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk watching on live in the stadium. Courtney, what have you made of the opening exchanges?
I think as we probably thought it would be quite cagey initially. You can see Australia's shape really in that 4-4-2, very rigid, making it difficult for England to play through. And I think you see in that passage of play where Alex made that foul, only thing she's got wrong all tournament in my opinion, by the way. But yeah, it was a terrible challenge. But you see, as soon as Australia get the ball, they play direct, they're looking for Sam Kerr, and yeah, that's the game plan you'd expect Australia to employ. And that little ball over the top again, yes, clearly offside, but it is that danger sign. It is a few little warnings from Australia just to show how dangerous they are.
That's our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, who is bringing us all of the colour and flavour of the tournament, and some excellent post-match interviews as well. You'll hear from the England boss, Sarina Wiegman, win or lose at the end of the semi-final, and no doubt 1 or 2 England players as well. Australia 0, England 0 it remains. 12 minutes have been played. England have a throw midway inside Australia territory in front of that huge technical area next to the dugout.
and also Alex Greenwood now being on that yellow card after 10 minutes.
Well, great reverse ball in by Daly towards Lucy Bronze, and an excellent covering header by Steph Catley to head it behind for a corner. Australia think there was a foul by Bronze in there, but the referee says goal. The referee says corner.
Yeah, I don't think that was a foul. It was a fantastic ball from Rachel Daly. What a great crossfield ball. Great pressure from Lucy Bronze. Do I think that's a foul? No, I think she's just competing for the ball. Has every right to go for it. But I was mentioning, Joe, Alex Greenwood now been on that yellow card, playing in that back three. She's going to have to tread a really fine line.
Bronze with that trademark back post run. Third corner of the first 12 and a half minutes for England. Alex Greenwood again, left-footed and out swinging. It's a thumping header over the top by Daly, who was lurking about 10 yards out amidst a flurry of England players. England in that sky blue change kit with dark blue trim. And Daly couldn't quite get the header on target, and it's a goal kick to Australia away to our left-hand side. But England have looked the more likely in the early stages, and Australia perhaps a little one-dimensional early on.
For sure, and that's where the game plan changes. When Emily Van Egmond was in there, she's not that player. She's playing in that 10 role. Their formation changes to a certain degree. So now Sam Kerr's in there. You always want to find her. That's also a blessing and a curse, really, because every time they're getting the ball, they're looking for her, but you will look for your best player. And she's a fantastic player. But I think with this England team, for sure, they looked organised. They look organised. They've grown in the tournament as it's gone on. And I think we just need to get our players on the ball a little bit more.
Good turn by Alessia Russo, playing it through towards Lauren Hemp. She's got the pace to beat the defender. The angle is tight. Down by the dead ball line. Hemp now facing away from goal. Has to check back, and she drives towards the far touchline and plays it about 20 yards back. More than that, in fact, towards halfway. Carter's got possession. Australia got players behind the ball, and then Walsh tried to thread it down the far side right channel, but she's overhit it. Goal kick. Australia 0, England 0, and the England chance is gone.
Yeah, it was interesting from Lauren Hemp because it was a good run initially, but I'm not quite sure. I want to see her being a little bit more direct in that situation. Pick up the ball, turn inside. She has the ability to be able to go 1v1. Up against Hunt for sure, but she goes all the way down to the corner and then kind of comes back on herself and passes it all the way back. I want to see Lauren Hemp getting 1v1 in these situations, because once she gets going, you can't stop her.
We'll bring you commentary of the final on Sydney, whoever is involved, on Sunday at 11 o'clock, live on the Talksport network. Best way to keep across all of our live football is to download the Talksport app. That way you can swipe between both stations and all sorts of sporting events, all manner of games this season. 450 live football matches at your leisure. We are online, we are on DAB radio, 1089 and 10:53 AM, via your smart speaker and the app. Here is Carter to the right of those three England centre-halves. Carter floats the ball high down the far side, the right England channel, but that's a poor pass by Chelsea's Jess Carter, and it's straight out of play for an Australia throw in the left-back position.
Yeah, something the Australians are really good at is getting you into a full sense of security, because they're very patient, but when they go with Caitlin Ford, Rasso and Sam Kerr, they will go, and they will press you from the front and they'll press high.
Quarter of an hour gone, 0-0 it remains. Australia with Carpenter down there near side the right. It's cleared away by Greenwood before Hayley Rasso, who's just joined Real Madrid from Manchester City, could reach it, and Australia have a throw midway inside England territory on the near side as we look at it. Carpenter with the blonde hair has come across to take it. Darkness overhead in Sydney, late in the evening, and relatively chilly as well. Australia fans in such great anticipation. Lots of TV ratings records have been broken this tournament for sporting events. The Australian nation has really been captured by this tournament. Australia, who are into the World Cup semi-final for the first time. Long throw by Carpenter into the England penalty area, headed away by Alex Greenwood. Comes back out to Carpenter, 10 yards from the dead ball line. We're listening to Talksport 2, floated high downfield by Katrina Gorry, who's winning her 100th Australia cap today. That's a poor ball, too much on it. Out to play for a goal kick to England and Mary Earps.
And what I'm loving about these teams, Joe, is it's the domino effect. It's almost like you saw that one shot of all of the people watching it on the aeroplane. We've seen the A-League, and I think the Brisbane team delayed their press conference the other day to be able to watch the Matildas finish off their game, and I think the Matildas are making that similar impact to what the Lionesses did last summer. And I think it's great to see, and we'll continue to see this throughout the tournament. We've seen it throughout the tournament. There's been so many teams, Haiti, Nigeria, Jamaica, that have just been so good. And I think we'll continue to see this, and hopefully it will continue to grow.
Former Lioness Leanne Sanderson, former World Cup semi-finalist. England on the attack with Hemp, floating it through the middle towards Toon. Turns it into the path of Russo, inside the penalty area, angle tight, smashes it into the side netting. Russo was never likely to score from there. Mackenzie Arnold had it covered at the near post. She's quite tall, the Australian goalkeeper. And Russo couldn't keep it on target.
No, I completely understand why she took this shot off for sure. I thought Ella Toone could have actually potentially taken it herself. It was a nice little one-touch pass to Alessia Russo, but in that situation she has to go across goal. Quite erratic in the end, but Ella Toone getting in that space underneath I think is really good.
17 minutes played, 0-0 it remains. Sarina Wiegman watches on from her seat in the dugout. Just have seen some crosses of St George, red and white behind the goal to the left, Leanne, so they are there. And again, I think there might have been a Manchester United one behind the goal too, so you'll be delighted
After
about
Monday night's game, I'm not sure we'll see many Man United flags. How underwhelming was that?
Live on Talksport on Monday night, Manchester United against Wolves, and we are your home of Monday Night Football across the season. That's a shove from Lucy Bronze on Caitlin Ford, and a free kick to Australia on the halfway line. England not afraid to adapt to a physical approach in these relatively early stages of the semi-final, and just the one save that either goalkeepers had to make, Arnold denying Stanway.
Yeah, I agree with what Courtney said, with regards to it being a bit cagey. It's what we expected in the opening 20 minutes or so. No team is trying to break each other down. They're trying to play themselves into the game. We're not seeing many, consecutive passes put together within the game. So as the game goes on, the nerves will start to go away, and we'll start to see teams settle down.
Well, Carter has won England a free kick midway inside their half of the field. England, who beat Colombia in the quarter-finals, Nigeria on penalties so dramatically in the round of 16. There was a big win over China in the group stages, and narrow victories over Denmark and Haiti, but it's a 100% record for England at the tournament. But they're under some pressure here, or they look like they might be momentarily. Poor ball down the left by Caitlin Ford of Arsenal and Australia, looking for Kerr, but that was nowhere near the striker Sam Kerr, and England very quickly regained possession with a minimum of fuss. And Mary Earps, away to our right in the all-pink goalkeeping kit, has not had a save to make just yet.
And that was an opportunity lost from Caitlin Ford, because it was a really poor giveaway from Millie Bright to Jess Carter, similarly to what they did in the first game against Haiti, and they eradicated that. So we don't want to be giving away the ball in these areas where they can come and counter us for sure.
England with Bright again, and England not content to force the issue by any means. They will happily stroke the ball around the back three and build possession very slowly here. England playing a patient game, a more patient game than what we've seen from the Australians in the first 20 minutes or so. Still goalless and very cagey, as we've said, almost like a chess match so far. Who's going to blink first? Stanway with a poor ball out to the right, behind Bronze and straight out of play. That was a completely needless concession of possession there from Stanway. Again,
we don't need to be doing stuff like that. Going back to those kind of habits that we picked up in the first game against Haiti and then against Denmark as well, just giving away the ball. I want to see Georgia Stanway turn there, go forward, be confident, because we know how good she can be when she's been able to ping those crossfield balls or get going. So just settle down a little bit.
Header away by Millie Bright from midway inside the England half. Now Greenwood with the long sleeve blue shirt on. Gets it back from Kira Walsh, and England again very content to keep possession, slow the tempo of the game, and actually England have quietened the crowd quite effectively so far. Is that your view too? England reporter live in the stadium, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Yeah, I think they've done that extremely well, although I do think the press from Australia is working well when they're going at the right times, they're staying, but as you know, they see the moment when to jump. I think they're jumping really well. They're putting the back three under pressure, and then sort of in possession as well. They're being really clever. They're getting everyone high. They're almost going 3v3 at the back, adding the extra one on the left as well to pull Lucy Bronze back in. So it's quite interesting to watch as a tactical game at the moment.
Yes, an intriguing tactical battle so far between the Dutch head coach of England, of course, Sarina Wiegman, who's never lost a competitive game as Lioness's boss and has been there and done it and won major tournaments before, not just with England but with the Netherlands too, and her Swedish counterpart Tony Gustafsson of Australia. Neither team really giving an inch, though I still feel, Leanne, England very nearly worked a decent angle for Hemp and Russo in the penalty area a few moments ago, but it remains 0-0. You still feel that England looks slightly the more likely of the two? Yeah, for sure. I think there's just been a lot of unforced errors to a certain degree so far, but I think when they can combine with Ella Toone and Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo, they're going to get a lot of joy. I said it was interesting before the game how England would adapt to the Australians with Steph Catley and Caitlin Ford getting up and down that left-hand side. Lucy Bronze looks like in the last 10 minutes or so that she's had more of a release to get forward down that right-hand side, because we saw there she's made a couple of runs, and that's when I think England are at their best, when players like Lucy Bronze can get forward. So Australia have possession at the moment with Gorry, midway inside her own half of the field, dispossessed by Toon, albeit the referee was right behind that incident, and Toon, I don't think, got much of the ball. And Australia win a free kick. In fact, Toon didn't get any of the ball right in front of the American referee, Tori Penso, who's a very experienced match official.
Again, you want to see the physicality though. I'm loving England don't usually get into those types of battles, but I like the fact that Ella Toon's going in, just a poorly timed tackle, no malice in it at all.
Midway through the first half of the Women's World Cup semi-final, Spain 2, Sweden 1. Yesterday we had high drama on Talksport 2. Australia 0, England 0. So far this evening in Sydney, England have had 64% of the possession so far, but just the one chance, big chance for Georgia Stanway, who saw her effort saved by the Australia goalkeeper Mackenzie Arnold, who was one of the heroes in that extraordinary quarter-final penalty shootout win over France. 7-6 Australia won it, and Arnold saved 3 penalties and even managed to miss a spot kick of her own. She hit the post, and she has taken a couple of penalties for West Ham United in the past as well. So a penalty-taking goalkeeper that England are up against tonight. But England are certainly not overwrought by the atmosphere, and it is England who you feel have control over the game. Steered forward by Carter, down the far side of the England right, and now Stanway surely tripped by Gorry. Referee says no free kick. Australia scooped the ball high and long towards Kerr. Tangle with Carter, again Tori Penso. Well, she shaped to save play on originally, and then decides to give the Australians a free kick just inside Lionesses' territory. It's quite scrappy at times. You can hear the boos of the crowd. 0-0 it remains. Here's Leanne Sanderson.
Every single time Sam Kerr is getting the ball, she's getting absolutely rocked. I mean, I don't think the players have any intention. Jess Carter just poorly timed that. It looks like it was a boot to the face of Sam Kerr to a certain degree, but yeah, every time she's getting the ball anywhere near her, they're so tight to her that they're giving away fouls.
Australia have it on the far side there left. It's a deep ball into the penalty area by Ford, high towards the back post, and Hayley Rasso gets up ahead of Rachel Daly, but the header is easy for Mary Earps to gather inside the England penalty area. One of the relatively rare touches for England's number one so far, who was arguably at fault for the Colombian goal in the quarter-final, the only goal that England have conceded at this tournament in open play so far. They did concede a penalty kick to China in the group stages.
Yeah, Mary will be disappointed. Mary will be disappointed to let that one against Colombia, but we'll let it go. You know, she's been so great for us in the Euros last summer, and even in this tournament, even against Haiti in the first game, against Denmark. You know, when she's called upon, which might have been rare, she's always come up when we really needed her.
Here come England with Hemp. She's 5 yards from the edge of the D, spinning, turning, 30 yards out, thought about a shot. She's blocked off though by Katrina Gorry. Back it goes to Kira Walsh, a square ball to Greenwood, midway inside the Australia half, deep ball high to the far post. Here comes Lucy Bronze, but here comes Arnold, the Australia goalkeeper, all in black, to pluck the ball out of the air. A very confident take from a very confident goalkeeper.
Well done, Mackenzie Arnold. You could see there though, they're looking for Lucy Bronze down that right hand side, and I'm loving the fact that she's having that licence to get up and down, because going up against Steph Catley and Caitlin Ford down that side, you know, they're very good defensively, but they also can get you on the counter. So I'm surprised that when Mackenzie Arnold didn't receive that ball, she didn't try and go very quickly, because Lucy Bronze would have been out of position. But good play from England again.
Quite a feisty encounter so far, Leanne. This is a relatively early stage rivalry, certainly in a footballing context, but you already feel like there's no great love lost between these two sets of players at times.
No, and England are playing a way that we're not used to seeing them play physically. You know, they're getting stuck in, and I'm loving it. You know, it's a battle, and everybody wants to win, and I think it's fantastic to see the physicality there. England have been a little bit late. That's the only thing I will say to a lot of the tackles timing, but I'm all for them being physical and getting tight.
Here is Walsh for England, just sitting in front of the back three, deepest line midfielder, out to the left-hand side, and Alex Greenwood, who I've mentioned on numerous occasions, I feel is one of England's absolute unsung heroes. And Hemp trying to tear down the left-hand side. It's picked up by Russo in front of Carpenter. Russo, I think, has dragged the ball out of play here. A throw to Australia in their right-back position. And Rachel Daly is down momentarily. Now she's sitting up again. I think she should be okay. I'm not sure England will need the physio on here. 26.5 minutes played. Australia 0, England 0 in this sometimes scrappy midfield battle, where it's been quite engaging to watch tactically, but we've seen very little in terms of clear goal-scoring opportunities. England have had the only real chance of the match so far, and I think what is good for the Lionesses and good for Serena Vegan is that the Stadium Australia crowd so heavily packed with Australia supporters, overwhelmingly outnumbering their England counterparts, but they're pretty quiet still at the moment.
Yeah, they are, and I think, tactically, when you look at a player like Kira Walsh, I think Australia are doing a really good job. You can see Mary Fowler's kind of dropping in on her, or Sam Kerr is alternating, just providing that shield in those areas, because when Kira Walsh went down with that injury and went off, I think England had to adapt. You heard Ellen White on the commentary before talking about it, saying, in the Euros last summer, Kira Walsh was like our quarterback. Everything went through her. And I think England now have a different plan if they can't get Kira Walsh on the ball. And I think it's worked better for England.
Cooney Cross with possession for Australia, far side, wriggles away from the challenge of Stanway, and eventually plays the ball back to the halfway line, where Claire Hunt is waiting. A surprise package at this tournament for Australia, in that she hardly had any national team experience coming into the tournament, but has played in all 6 matches so far, including this semi-final, of course, where it remains goalless. Gorry, square ball to Carpenter on the halfway line. Australia, for the first time in the match, have strung 5 or 6 passes together. Now Hayley Rasso, right wing position, taking on Rachel Daly, getting to the dead ball line. Daly slides in, firm, fair, and a clean challenge, even though Rasso is clutching her lower shin. And that'll be a corner to Australia on the near side of the field.
Yeah, those ones for sure hurt, but good defensive work from Rachel Daly. Be interesting to see now what England do. Obviously, we know there's zonal marking. We need to pick up players. Usually players like Alana Kennedy, who's not playing today, would be someone they'd be looking for on these set pieces, but they equally have good enough players that can get on the end of it.
This is at the end of the stadium, where Australia had that most famous penalty shootout victory to get beyond France into the quarterfinals and into the semis of a World Cup for the first time ever. Australia 0, England 0, live on Talksport 2 in the last 4. Spain await the winners in the final on Sunday. 29 gone. Catley's left-footed in swinging delivery, headed away by Millie Bright, only as far as the far post, and the shot is driven wide. Via a deflection, it looked like, from Rasso. That should be a second corner in quick succession for Australia, and it is.
I honestly believe that Hayley Rasso could have hit this first time. I don't really know why she controlled it. Good defending there from Lucy Bronze, but I actually think asking a lot maybe for her to hit it on the first time, but I think she could have.
Australia fans waving those green and gold scarves high up into the air. Anticipation starting to grow and the noise levels are peaking for the first time tonight at Stadium Australia. England just having some defensive work to do. Corner driven in high, deep towards Rasso again, headed away by Lucy Bronze at the far post for England. It's come back to Katrina Gorry. Gorry will scoop it long. That was an awkward, ungainly ball forward. Out of play, goal kick England, but Bronze, slightly more concerningly, is down. She's sitting down at the moment, being helped up to her feet by Greenwood and Bright, and Bronze is going to be okay to carry on. 0-0 it remains.
She looks like she'll be okay. She was putting herself on the line there. Just looks like she collided with Hayley Rasso in the end, but Lucy Bronze is that type of player. She's a warrior. She'll be okay.
Yeah, and it's a tough watch in the stands. It's a tough watch in the commentary box as well. A major semi-final. And of course England with all of that weight of expectation on their shoulders, but they've kept relatively calm up to this point.
Yeah, and I think, with the way the game's gone, I don't think it's been the most quality game so far. I think definitely both teams are going at it, but I think when you look at the overall quality and chances created, it kind of reminds me similarly to yesterday, the Spain versus Sweden game that we did, with regards to neither team wants to really take that risk. No one's really penetrating through the middle. When you get to the final third, no one's really combining at all, and then it's breaking down and they're coming straight down the other end. So we're not seeing a lot of quality, but I think both teams are certainly up for it.
Here is Greenwood, out to the near side, and Rachel Daly midway into the Australian half. The Australian boss, Tony Gustafsson, who is also a qualified maths and PE teacher. Arms folded on the edge of his technical area. England go long up towards Hemp. It's floated over her head and through to the Australian goalkeeper, Mackenzie Arnold. 0-0 it remains, just over half an hour gone. And let's get the thoughts of our England reporter in the stadium, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Courtney, what do you make of what you're seeing?
Yes, to be expected, cagey, but it's interesting when Australia had that corner, the noise levels again erupted. So look, they're wanting to play this part, the fans, but they're just not having the opportunity just yet. But to expected at the minute, cagey, but we'll see what happens.
Mexican waves in the stadium. England have the ball on the far side with Bronze. Bronze midway inside Australia territory. Plays it back to Jess Carter, who's been outstanding for England at this tournament, but she's given the ball away. Sloppy pass cross field. Hayley Rasso there to intercept for Australia. Driving forward in numbers here in green and gold. Nudges it to the right, and Carpenter. Carpenter crosses. Overhit. Miles overhit by Carpenter. No chance that Fowler, nor Kerr, nor even Ford at the far post could get there. And out of play for an England throw. Sigh of relief for Jess Carter, 0-0.
Yeah, I don't think that was the best ball from Hayley Rasch. So I think you're asking a lot of Ellie Carpenter to receive that. She probably could have hit it in first time instead of receiving it. And I think that Fowler and Kerr were anticipating her hitting it in first time. I think the better option would have been to try and thread the ball through to Mary Fowler on the initial play. But good play again from Australia when Hayley Rasch was picking up that ball.
Might open up for Fowler from distance. She tries to set up Katrina Gorry, sliding in on Kira Walsh. Walsh just about got the better of her in that 50-50. Daly clears long onto the chest of Russo. Controls just inside the England half. And Toon plays it back to Daly. And England slow the play down again. We've had 32.5 minutes. And still yet to see a breakthrough. Doesn't look like a breakthrough is coming for either side at the moment here in the Women's World Cup semi-final. We'll have coverage of the WSL. And we hope of England across the course of the season. 450 live commentaries for you on the Talksport network. That's more live football than anybody else. Friday night football back on Talksport with Nottingham Forest against Sheffield United in the Premier League, and Leeds, who've made a poor start to life back in the Championship, against West Brom at 8 o'clock on Friday here on Talksport 2. Gorry has the ball for Australia on the halfway line. Checks back away from Toon and calmly rolls it back to Hunt. And now Polkinghorne, 162nd cap for Claire Polkinghorne today, former teammate of Leanne's. And now Kyra Cooney-Cross in the middle of the Australian half, floating it high over the halfway line. A poor header infield by Razzo. The loose ball is retrieved by England's Georgia Stanway, up towards Alessia Russo. She's looking for support in blue, but England a little slow to get forward. Here is Daly to Russo again with her back to goal. No great tempo to this England attack, and Australia have slowed to walking pace. Floated into the box by Toon, headed away by Polkinghorne again, cleared away by Ford, and a lack of urgency from both sides. And maybe that's down to nervousness, maybe that's down to fear of making a mistake, but nobody seems to really be quite going for it yet in the semi-final. Maybe again that's understandable, yeah.
For sure we need to be a little bit more dynamic, I think, in the final third. I'm really surprised that Lauren Hebb and Alessia Russo haven't really put it on Hunt or Polkinghorne at all. You know, it is certainly very, very slow when they're getting into those final third areas. The ball is slowing down. They're not really finding anyone. They're really looking for that cross-field ball. They've done it a couple of times when Rachel Daly's picking it up, trying to find Lucy Bronze or Lauren Hemp. But I just want them to be a little bit more dynamic in those final third areas to try and move around the Australian back line, because they haven't really caused any problems.
Bright has got the ball inside the centre circle. Little just token pressure on Bright from Fowler and Kerr, the front two for Australia. It's a 4-4-2 for Australia again tonight. That's how they've set up across the tournament. Bright up towards the halfway line, and Walsh back to Millie Bright again inside the centre circle. Now here's Georgia Stanway, square to Walsh at the lip of the centre circle, and England starting to try and build. Do they have the ingenuity and the creativity to unlock this Australian back line? Australia just sitting off England and allowing them to have possession. 10 minutes of the first half to go. Australia 0, England 0. Daly wins a throw deep inside Australia territory.
Yeah, I think Australia are looking really organised in that 4-4-2 when they're defending, because they're really difficult to break down. But that's when I'm looking for, Georgia Stanway, Ella Toon to find some space in between the lines, move around, Gorey and those types of players, drag them out of position.
Oh, here is Russo down by the dead ball line, pulling it back towards Ella Toon! Finds the top corner! England's Ella Toon arrives at the World Cup with a stunning goal in the semi-final. She rifled it past the goalkeeper, smack into the top corner, and the Lionesses take a huge step closer to a first ever World Cup final. Stunning goal from Ella Toon, and what a stage upon which to score it. Australia shell-shocked, England delighted. Australia 0, England 1. What a moment for the Lionesses.
What a goal. What an absolutely fantastic goal from Ella Toon. What a strike. I mean, I could watch this time and time again. She had no backlift and she knew exactly what she was doing. Pinged it on the dime, on the laces, top corner. Brilliant goal. And I've been quite critical of Ella Toon this tournament. I don't think she's had the impact I expected her to, but absolutely amazing. Set that aside now. You deserve this, Ella Toon. And I was questioning if she should start in this game. A lot of people were. Absolutely Serena Wigman. Fantastic decision. What a strike.
A hero at the Euros with the opening goal in the final, the opening goal in the semi-final of a World Cup. Ella Toon of Manchester United and England and Stadium Australia is silenced. But for a handful of England fans dotted around this huge arena, there's an England fan who's dancing up and down the steps in the concourses, Leanne. England lead 1-0.
Oh yeah, what a goal. Absolutely brilliant. Watching that goal back, absolutely sensational from Ella Toone. And what I love is that as soon as they score, they celebrate, but the England players, they come together in a huddle as if to say, we need to remain focused. What a goal from Ella Toone.
Here come Australia straight away, header away by Millie Bright to the edge of the box. It's come back to Carpenter. Carpenter checks infield, finds Gorry, edge of the D, shoots left-footed, and that's gathered by Earps. Didn't have to move her feet there even, Mary Earps. Straight down the chest of the goalkeeper, and a simple save. Australia 0, England 1. As it stands, England will be in the World Cup final against Spain on Sunday.
Yeah, this game isn't over by all means. I think, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk mentioned about the crowd being quietened down. You can kind of hear that as well. I think England know how to get past in these games. Against Colombia, they did it. And the resilience they have under Serena Wigman is just quite incredible. So this game isn't over. We still need to remain focused. Don't get carried away. I think defensively we need to take better care of the ball. I think there's been a lot of uncharacteristic-like mistakes in the back line where we're giving away the ball. But I think other than that, well done, Ella Toone. Absolutely brilliant strike.
She's won it back again for England, and here is Russo playing it square to Stanway. 30 yards out, Stanway just slows the game down. Rather more conservative pass out to the right-hand side, and Lucy Bronze. England now with Greenwood just inside Australia territory. A bit of lethargy about the Australian side so far. They trail England by a 0-0. Ella Toone with a rocket into the top corner. And what a moment and what a stage on which to get another major tournament goal, Ella Toone. Her first of this World Cup. And Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, our England reporter, it was an absolute stunner.
Yeah, it was. We had a fantastic view of it as well, right behind it, right in that top corner. I think I pulled something celebrating. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And this is what Ella Toone's about, arriving in areas. She's not a Lauren James who's going to get it in tight areas and turn and face on the front foot. But when she arrives in areas and takes a shot, that's what she's about.
Calf injuries in the commentary box. England are coming forward with Kira Walsh, middle of the Australia half. Can England get themselves a second goal before the break? That's not a good ball by Toone. England look the better side, I think, by some distance over the first 39 minutes, Leanne. 1-0 in front.
I agree with you, and I said before the game, individually, I feel like individually we were better. I think we were thinking that the home field advantage would carry the Australians through, but I don't think they've got going yet. I mean, it is only 1-0. They're getting it at half-time, Australia, and they need to do a little bit more, because I think overall, I agree with you, Joe, I think England have been a better team, but it is still only 1-0.
I think there's more to come from England, potentially, in terms of performance, as you say, if they can just tighten up the slightly sloppier areas of their game. We've got 5 minutes of the first half to go, plus stoppage time. You wouldn't necessarily say Australia have been overwrought by the occasion, but there has been a great lack of intensity at times from Australia, particularly off the ball, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure, and I think you mentioned before the game, the only loss has come against Australia in April under Serena Wigman, and this looks like a completely different Australian team. They don't really have that energy, they're not really breaking, and Sam Kerr coming back into the lineup, the players are trying to get the ball to her, which I completely understand, but I think they need to go back to how they played throughout this tournament, possessing the ball, trying to find a way.
Good run by him down the inside left channel on the underlap, and Daly's pass was overhit and out of play for a goal kick to Australia. England, I have to tell you, unbeaten in their 18 World Cup matches when scoring first. 16 wins in that time, of course. Extra time and penalties, should we need it to separate the two sides here tonight, but some glum faces among the many thousands, tens of thousands of Australian supporters in the crowd. It's very much like an away game, this, for England in Sydney, in almost every sense, you'd have to say, but it's England who lead 1-0. Cleared forward by Polkinghorne for Australia, up to the halfway line, laid off neatly by Ford to the left and Fowler. Fowler on halfway, Fowler very deep for a centre forward, driving it forward high up the middle. Poor ball, although it still might reach Rasso somehow down the Australia right. In fact, it doesn't, and it's out of play for a goal kick to England, and Sam Kerr hasn't had a sniff at goal just yet.
No, and I think the Australians are forcing the ball quite a lot. You could see there, they were trying to find Mary Fowler with the diagonal, didn't quite come off, and I think Serena Wigman will be really happy with how the first half's gone. The Australian fans seem to be certainly quieting down, and I think England, I said it before the game, Joe, they know how to overcome these types of games. It doesn't matter about the hostile environment. They've worked on this. since Serena Wiegmann got the job, and there's a reason why Serena Wiegmann seems to be able to get things done. And this is not over, but she'll be potentially in 2 back-to-back World Cup finals with 2 different countries, then 2 back-to-back. It's incredible what she's brought to this team. Individually, the players have had to implement the game plan, but Serena Wiegmann, different level of coaching and tactically in every way.
England fans in their bobble hats and scarves. It's a chilly night in Sydney, middle of the winter in this part of the world, and Australia look very flat. England lead 1-0. Ella Toone with a stunner of a goal. Here is Sam Kerr, and again Serena Wiegmann yet again vindicated in terms of her team selection. England are on the attack. Stanway driving up the middle, pokes it towards the right, and Hemp gets there in front of the 2 centre halves, Polkinghorne and Hunt. Back it goes to Stanway, first time ball into the middle. Russo lets it run across her body. Toone will collect the ball down by the corner of the penalty area. England have still got possession here. Daly chips it into the penalty area. Hemp diving header, saved by the goalkeeper, and I think there was a foul by Hemp anyway. Free kick given to Australia. England 1-0 up.
Yeah, the most obvious push you're ever going to see from Lauren Hemp on Steph Catley, but again, that diagonal ball they've been looking to do during this game and create the overload. You can see Lucy Bronze underneath as well, trying to make that secondary run. So Lauren Hemp, great run, nice ball from Rachel Daly, but a clear-cut foul.
Big shove in the back of Catley. England have it with Greenwood. Oh, she's got to be careful not to be dispossessed by Rasso here, and she escapes Rasso, and then Millie Bright just decides to hammer it away. That's an Australia throw on the halfway line. Less than just over 90 seconds of normal time remaining at the end of the first half of the Women's World Cup semi-final 2023, live on Talksport 2. We'll bring you the final on Sunday. Spain against either Australia or England, and the Lionesses are 1-0 up. Here is Polkinghorne. Midway inside her own half, pushes it forward to the diminutive Gorry. And now Carpenter in the right back position for Australia. Carpenter under pressure from Daly. Checks infield to find Cooney Cross. Cooney Cross driving forward at pace towards the halfway line. Now Carpenter collects possession, takes it in a stride. Over halfway, good football from Australia. Rasso down the near side, the right. Kerr is lurking in the middle. Ford is back post as well. Australia with Cooney Cross. Lots of time to measure the cross. Here comes Ford. Great header away by Lucy Bronze at the expense of a corner.
Yeah, good ball from Cooney Cross. You could see what she was trying to do, trying to beat England at her own game, trying to switch that diagonal ball. Good defending from Lucy Bronze, because those ones are really difficult, and Caitlin Ford was kind of hovering on that back stick ready to receive it. Great defending from Lucy Bronze.
Excellent flick away from the England number 2. And England have just got to be careful not to give Australia a head of steam at the end of the first half. These are dangerous moments for England. 30 seconds of normal time remaining. England 1-0 up. Floodlights on in Sydney. Plenty forward in the gold and green of Australia. Corner floated in high to the 6-yard box, headed away by Daly, back in by Fowler. That loop off the head of Carter. Mary Earps will gather inside the penalty area, and the danger's gone.
They've actually been quite surprised at the lack of urgency from Australia as well. Even on that set piece, England looked comfortable throughout this game, and I think, if England were to get another goal, it'd be interesting, because I think that would be game over. As crazy as that sounds, I don't think Australia possess any type of threat. I think they'll be looking to get in at half-time and have to make some changes to a certain degree, not necessarily personnel, but something needs to change for Australia, because they've been pretty poor in this game, taking nothing away from England. But again, I don't think it's been our best performance. I think, look at the back line, at times we've looked a bit shaky, but we've played the game, exactly what's in front of us, and got the job, half the game done so far.
40 seconds of a minute added to remain here to go in the first half. Australia 0, England 1. 30 seconds of a minute added to go. Good turn by Fowler, playing it to the left and Ford. Ford taking on Bronze, hugging the touchline. Now drops the ball infield towards Fowler again. Fowler with a back to goal. Dead ball line. Back out wide to Ford once again. Ford thinks about an in-swinging cross. Sets up Catley on the underlap. Catley digs out the delivery over the head of Kerr. Headed away. Well headed away by Rachel Daly of England. And Lauren Hemp shrugs aside Carpenter. Drives forward up towards halfway. Excellent football by Hemp to an England a throw. One of England's best players at the tournament, Lauren Hemp.
Absolutely brilliant from Lauren Hemp. You can see she went shoulder to shoulder with Ellie Carpenter, came away with the ball. Absolutely brilliant play from Lauren Hemp.
And that is half-time. And England are halfway to a first senior appearance of any England team in a World Cup final since those heady days of 1966. It would be the first time the Lionesses had ever reached a showpiece final at a World Cup. They deservedly lead Australia by a goal to nil. Ella Toone with a rocket rifling the ball into the top corner from the angle. After 36 minutes, Australia have rarely threatened, and the atmosphere is somewhat sombre at Stadium Australia at half-time. On Talksport 2, where it's Australia 0, England 1.
Wow, Ella Toone, how to silence those critics, Leanne?
She ain't silencing me.
Really?
No, she is. I'm going to obviously critique the players, Faye, as I see it. And in the last games, therefore, I haven't think she's been good enough. But today, absolutely take my hat off to her. Fantastic strike. And I think Serena Wiegmann, in that selection, I think she's obviously justified, and she always does seem to shut me up.
Well, in Serena Wiegmann we trust, as we always say. I have to say it was really brilliant work, I thought, from Alessia Russo and Lauren Hemp to keep the ball in play down the left-hand side in the first place, and that opened up the space. They drew the Australian defenders over to them, which allowed Ella Toone to put that rocket. But I mean, as a striker, you must appreciate, I mean, you talked about it hitting it right off the laces. She struck that beautifully.
Absolutely brilliant composure, and she knew exactly what she was doing. As soon as the ball fell to her, you know as a player, when you hit the ball sweetly like that, she already knew it was in as soon as it left her foot. And fair play to Ella Toone. We know she can come up in big moments similar to Chloe Kelly in the Euros last summer. But I think this game has certainly been, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk said it, Joe said it, chess match, KG, and it has been like that. I don't think Australia have been good at all, and I've been really surprised at their lack of urgency. It's been quite off. They have looked flat. We said it during commentary. So fair play to Ella Toone. Absolutely brilliant strike.
I have to say, though, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is at Stadium Australia. I wonder what some of those tackles looked like from your vantage point, because it felt more like wizard's chess to me, to be honest, at some points, Courtney. There was some crunching tackles going in, particularly a couple of naughty ones from Hayley Rasso and Rachel Daly. Those two having a real battle.
Yeah, they're having a battle. I think there was a couple with Jess Carter as well. I think she made like 2 or 3. I was quite surprised that she's not into the referee's book as it is as yet. But no, look, it's combative, or it started like that. I think as the half wore on, it got a little bit quieter in that sense. I agree with Leanne Sanderson in terms of the lack of urgency from Australia. That's surprising. I suppose we saw it in the last 2 minutes or so. And I don't know whether it's the fact that Sam Kerr's playing and they're playing more direct and they want to try and get her to influence the game. But I think the best of Australia we've seen is Caitlin Ford and Steph Catley down that left-hand side, and we've just not seen that enough.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that was why I was surprised that Sam Kerr was starting, because I thought let them get the kind of stranglehold in the game that they've managed to do previously, and then bring her on for that kind of final bit of quality. And it feels like they're learning to play with her again. But it's been a really fascinating first half, and Australia is still in this. And I know you said in commentary, Leanne, that it didn't look like a goal was coming, but we equally know that this Australia side can pull a goal out of nothing.
Yeah, they have the quality for sure in their lineup. I agree with what Courtney just said with regards to them being direct, trying to go to Sam Kerr. I get it to a certain degree because you want to find your best player, but I think Hayley Rasso during this tournament, Caitlin Ford have been brilliant going forward, and Ellie Carpenter alongside that right hand side with Hayley Rasso getting up and down. They haven't really done that today, so definitely strong half-time team talk is needed for the Aussies to be able to come back into this game, because considering sometimes the occasion can get to you, Faye, to a certain degree. And when I'm looking at this Australian team, it looks like that's happening right now, because the players they have individually have been exceptional during this tournament, some of them. Caitlin Ford, those types of players, but it just isn't really working. Mary Fowler's getting on the ball sometimes, they're not really looking to get on the ball, and I think, we've certainly silenced them, but they need to step up a little bit more.
Yeah, have you noticed, Courtney, in Stadia that it feels like the atmosphere has just quietened a little bit, and it took all the noise out of the stadium when Ella Toone's goal went in, and that's actually not helping the Matildas at all.
Yeah, it certainly did. Or I just don't know whether in general to that point, actually, when the teams came out and the national anthems, that was all great in sort of the first couple of minutes, but after that, there hasn't been that atmosphere. I mean, I'm comparing it to Colombia. From minute 1 to 90 plus minutes, whatever we played, they did not stop those Colombia fans. Whereas the Australia fans, it's more like, if they're having a corner, if they're having an attack, they get involved. But that actual atmosphere to make it difficult for England, it's just not happened.
Yeah, it's a different crowd though, isn't it? Because they're not soccer in inverted commas fans, if you like. So I can understand why that might be the case. But watching the Matildas and knowing what you need to do to help get them over the line, you know, from their point of view, hopefully in the second half they'll get a little bit louder. From the Lionesses though, I hope that doesn't happen, because actually you couldn't hear anybody singing the national anthem for England at the beginning, which shows how outnumbered they are. That's for sure. What's Sarina Wiegman going to be saying to her side in the break, Leanne?
I think, you know, keep doing exactly what you're doing, but take better care of the ball. If we're being hypercritical, there's been a lot of unforced errors from that back three that I've really, you know, been really complimentary of in the previous games. But I think we've given away the ball in those areas too much. And if Australia decide to turn it on, then that could cause us a lot of problems. But don't get carried away. I said it, Faye, you know, when they scored, you noticed when Ella Toone scored, she celebrated, but everybody kind of went into a huddle. They were focused. You could see Alex Greenwood's face. You could see nobody's getting carried away. And I love that about this team. They're so focused and resilient about the job at hand. They're not going to be taking their foot off the gas until that final whistle goes.
Yeah, and of course Alex Greenwood on a yellow card as well, so he's going to have to be very careful and really reach down for all her professionalism in this second half. This is the Women's World Cup live on Talksport 2. Second half action of the Lionesses semi-final against Australia to come. England a goal up thanks to Ella Toone. Big 45 coming next. This is Women's World Cup live on Talksport 2. I'm Faye Carruthers. England leading Australia by a 1-0 at the break thanks to that stunner from Ella Toone. Leanne Sanderson, former England striker, is with me. It was a striker's finish from Ella Toone as well, wasn't it? And it feels like there's been no panic from England. They've kept calm at all times. And in commentary, you kind of mentioned this new nastiness almost to them. We mentioned the tackles flying in left, right and centre, but I've just been looking at the stats. 9 fouls to Australia's 1, and that Australia one I think was Rasso on Daly, after Daly had left one in on Rasso just a couple of moments beforehand. And maybe that's what they've got to do against this Australia side. They've got to find this grit.
Yeah, I think we have to have those dark arts and be clever. I think obviously Sam Kerr coming into the game, everyone's talking about her injury, and you know, in the first couple of minutes, Kira Walsh in the first 30 seconds, you know, put one on Sam Kerr. Then there was Alex Greenwood, then Jess Carter's getting nice and tight. So I'm not saying be nasty, but you have to play the game that's in front of you. And I think England have shown they can be adaptable, they can play, they can win dirty, they can win games when they're not playing that well. And that, to me, is a characteristic of a great team. Faye, can you imagine how this would go if we had Beth Mead, Frank Kirby, you know, and Leah Williamson? It's frightening, isn't it, to think, like, a lot of the talk obviously was about the injuries before the tournament, but now, you notice no one's even really talking about them.
No, because they're not important, because this side have managed to find something different, haven't they? And we always talk, don't we, about the ability of Sarina Wiegman, which you would think as a top-class coach she would be. She can always just find a solution, whatever problem it is that's put in front of her. And as we keep mentioning on the Women's World Cup Daily Show, she's had many of them to contend with leading into this tournament. She finds a solution every single time. The Lionesses are huddling up. England facing Australia in the semi-final, looking to make history and make a World Cup final for the first time in the women's game. Fans across the UK celebrating, a tiny pocket of fans in Stadium Australia as well. The Lionesses are ready. Are you? That is the question. Second half commentary from Stadium Australia coming up next with Leanne Sanderson and Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Faye. England lead Australia by 1-0 in Sydney. And England today hoping to end their semi-final heartache at World Cups, beaten by the United States in the 2019 semi-final. In fact, Millie Bright played that day and was sent off. England had a penalty save late on. In 2015 they were beaten by Japan after an own goal from Laura Bassett in second half stoppage time. Tonight in Sydney though, 9 o'clock local time, they lead the co-hosts by 1-0. Australia in gold and green with white socks will get the second half underway, playing from right to left. No changes at half-time for either team. England in their change kits, sky blue shirts and shorts with dark blue trim and dark blue socks, playing from left to right. England with Mary Earps in goal, Carter, Bright and Greenwood the back three, Bronze and Daly the wing-backs. As England get on the attack straight away, it's a great ball by Russo down the right towards Hemp, who's certainly got the pace to take on and beat Polkinghorne. Hemp has got it now down by the dead ball line. She has her back to goal and checks back to find Russo. England with Walsh, Stanway and Toone the goal scorer in midfield. Russo and Hemp up front. Everybody else on the bench bar Lauren James, who remains suspended. But of course, if England get through to the final, James will be available. Given away by Rousseau though. Australia on the attack. This semi-final is not done yet. First few seconds of the second half on Talksport 2. Rasso plays the ball backwards to the middle of the England half, and Gorry sprays the ball wide to Arsenal's Steph Catley. Australia very limp and tame and tepid in the first half. One effort on goal. It took them over half an hour. Easy gather for Mary Earps. Australia and Sam Kerr, starting in the tournament for the first time, have rarely threatened. They have Arnold in goal, Carpenter, Hunt on the ball now, Polkinghorne and Catley in defence, Rasso, Gorry, Cooney Cross and Ford in midfield, Kerr and Fowler up front. And England have shackled Sam Kerr very effectively so far, and they've kept the 75,000 home supporters quiet. Here is Carpenter though for Australia. Edge of the penalty area, flips in the cross, there's Kerr far post, Carter gets in front of her, and the ball bounces off the back of Lucy Bronze, and it's gathered by Mary Earps. Australia 0, England 1, 2 minutes into the second half of the World Cup semi-final, with Spain awaiting the winners on Sunday live on the Talksport network. And here's former Lioness Leanne Sanderson.
Good ball in from Ellie Carpenter, well defending in the end. They got around it. That's exactly what Sam Kerr looks to do, get on the back shoulder. England got quite fortunate because it fell to Lucy Bronze. Jess Carter was putting that pressure on. Something I've been quite surprised with is the fact that every time Caitlin Ford has got the ball down this left-hand side, 9 times out of 10 she's come inside. That shows me she doesn't really want to know against Lucy Bronze. She hasn't really got the ball and gone 1v1. We know Lucy Bronze is one of the best fullbacks in the world, but you'd expect Caitlin Ford to pick up the ball, get at her and get some change out of her, but she's not really trying to even get at her. She's just coming inside every single time she gets the ball.
Commentary of every England game of the tournament live on the Talksport network. We hope, of course, they'll be playing on Sunday rather than in the third place playoff against Sweden on Saturday. One of 450 live commentary matches for you tonight on the Talksport network. This one of 450 over the course of the season, and we resume our Premier League coverage on Friday night with Nottingham Forest against Sheffield United on Talksport, and in the Championship on 2 on Friday it's Leeds against West Brom. Then on Saturday game day returns 12:30 on Talksport 2, Plymouth against Southampton from the Championship. Two sides have experienced differing fortunes in recent years. Wolves against Brighton in the Premier League on Talksport at 3, and at 8 o'clock Manchester City against Newcastle United. The Monday night football back on Talksport next Monday is Crystal Palace against Arsenal. Here come Australia on the attack. 1-0 down to England in the last 4 at the World Cup. We're in the 49th minute. Australia have it now on the edge of the penalty area with Fowler wearing gloves. Fowler whips in a deep ball. Caitlin Ford is there with a header, but it's a poor header, cushioned back across the edge of the 6-yard box, and Mary Earps is able to plunge on the ball. That's better from Australia though, and that has the home crowd voicing their approval.
Much better. Great ball from Mary Fowler. It was always going to be difficult for Caitlin Ford to generate any type of power because she was backpedaling, and by the time she headed it back across goal, there was just no power on the ball at all. But certainly better from Australia getting into those areas where they could cause some problems. We've seen 2 opportunities now in the opening 4 minutes where they've got down that right hand side and put the kind of direct ball into the box, trying to find Sam Kerr or trying to find Caitlin Ford.
We did say, Leanne, didn't we, at half-time that Australia would surely be better, and England looked sloppy as Bright has given the ball away, and Australia have it inside the centre circle with Gorry. And England must be careful about conceding possession as easily as they have done at times. Gorry, diminutive, picks up the ball in the centre circle, sprays it wide to the left and forward. First time pass over the head of the England defence to find Kerr, and now Fowler, edge of the penalty area. Fowler twisting, turning, onto her right foot. Half tackle by Bright. England are looking a little on the back foot here early in the second half. That's a well-timed tackle though by Georgia Stanway, who nutmegs Steph Catley. Boos from the home fans, but Stanway's tackle was well judged and fair. She got to the ball.
Well done, Georgia Stanway, brilliant. Nice little nutmeg in there as well to come out of play.
Oh, and here's a chance over the top for Toon. Down by the dead ball line, can she reach it? The Australian defender Hunt comes across. Now that is a needless corner conceded by Claire Hunt, and confirmation from the referee from the United States, Tori Penso, that it is an England corner. England 1-0 up in Sydney against Australia, live on Talksport 2, 5 minutes played in the second half.
Good run from Ella too, and you can see Claire Polkinghorne couldn't quite get across. Unnecessary corner, and rightfully said, Joe.
England, who haven't lost a competitive game since the last World Cup. The only match they've been beaten in under Serena Wiegmann was a friendly. It was in April. It was against Australia. But England have got plenty of sky blue shirts forward in the penalty area now for this corner, including the captain Millie Bright. It's hoisted in by Greenwood towards Brighton. Bronze is there at the far post too. Neither could get a touch. Behind it goes for a goal kick away to our right to Australia.
Yeah, good ball in from Alex Greenwood. It almost looked like Millie Bright got in there a little bit too soon. And whenever England get a set piece, there's so many bodies in that box. It's almost like a pinball machine. The ball can fall to anybody.
Catley has it now in the left back position. Long sleeved shirt on Steph Catley, signed a new Arsenal contract earlier this summer. Back it goes now to Gorry. Gorry steers the ball forward, dreadful pass towards the halfway line, easily intercepted by Walsh. And now Russo looking to burst crossfield from right into a central position. England go back out towards the near side at Stanway, and Bronze is on the overlap. Here is Lucy Bronze, Hemp and Russo in the middle. If England can get a second here, it would give them a huge advantage. Crossing is headed away by Hunt. Australia look nervy defensively there, and a scramble clearance by Gorry over the top, and Catley's kept it in right by the corner flag. Australia, who look a little more sprightly going forward, but that's a terrible clearance, shanked out of play by Catley. England throw in front of the dugout, and as I say, Leanne, if England get the second, it might well be semi-final over.
Yeah, it's been really underwhelming from Australia. I've been quite surprised because I was expecting way more. I mean, we've still got a long time to go in this game, 40 minutes plus additional time, but I think England have looked in control from minute one. And it's interesting, a start I saw at half time that's taken Australia 25 seconds to recover the ball from England, whereas England has taken them 7 seconds. That leads me to believe the press from England, the intensity is there from Australia. It just simply isn't.
Lucy Bronze on the ball now for England, midway inside the Australia half. Lots of gold and green shirts behind the ball, but England content just to keep possession. No need for England to force the issue, leading as they do by a goal to nil. Bronze, by the way, making her 19th World Cup appearance for England today. Only Jill Scott, with 21, has made more England appearances at the World Cup. That's a poor ball out of play by Kira Walsh. Both sides showing signs of mistakes, but the Lionesses lead the Matildas, and though the Australian fans are trying to crank up the noise, England have come to the cauldron that is Stadium Australia, and so far, so good for Serena Wiegmann. And England have it with Walsh, and now Stanway in the centre circle, back to Millie Bright. And Millie Bright just gesturing the England captain just to calm down and slow the game down, Leanne.
For sure, they're in control. You don't want to make any unnecessary mistakes. It only looks like that Australia are going to score within this game due to something that England do that hasn't gone to plan, or a uncharacteristic like mistake. So I think we've looked in control, really in control, and that's just an example there. Claire Polkinghorne just kicks the ball out of play, really no thought process.
Header away by Polkinghorne from the corner of her own penalty area, then a missed kick by Ford. Australia look really scrappy at times, all over the place. At times in this semi-final, have really flattered to deceive so far, but they do have possession in the centre circle now with Kyra Cooney cross. Over the halfway line she goes, out to the right-hand side of Rasso. Carpenter forward on the overlap. Australia seek an equaliser in the World Cup semi-final, but that's a terrible ball, this time by Rasso. Poked too far ahead of Carpenter and out of play for a goal kick to England. I don't know whether overwrought by the situation or fazed by the situation is the right way of looking at it from Arsenal striker Leanne Sanderson, but Australia just look way too careless on the ball.
They do, and I think England have also been quite fortunate because some days and some games you just turn up and it's not your day, and it seems right now Australia have decided that it's not decided because it's not in your control, but today is the day, and I think the Lionesses are quite fortunate in that sense, taking nothing away from how we've done in this game. I don't think Australia have caused any sorts of problems.
Sanka has not had a sniff at goal just yet. Australia's all-time leading scorer. Spain 2, Sweden 1 yesterday on Talksport 2 in the other semi-final. That was a high-quality second half, certainly, and Spain deserved to go through their first World Cup final. There'll be a new name on the World Cup, and whatever happens, that is guaranteed, because of course none of the four sides ultimately that made the last four have ever won the tournament. Sweden's heartache will go on, but Spain, Australia, and certainly England still have hope. Australia 0, England 1, 10 minutes into the second half. The Australia head coach, Tony Gustafsson, who has lost some big matches in his managerial career in the past. He's often been on the losing side on the big occasion. Standing on the edge of his technical area, arms folded, forward by Catley, floodlights on and dark skies overhead, 9:15 in the evening. The ball is cleared away by England, up to the halfway line, and Hemp pops it backwards now to the middle of midfield, and Walsh just takes her time on the ball. Backwards it goes to Greenwood, now Walsh again, just to the lip of the centre circle, and now Millie Bright, and England just very calm and composed, and Australia are finding it hard to generate any sort of energy into their play, and with it, any sort of momentum into trying to get an equaliser.
Yeah, I think this is the blessing and the curse of having Sam Kerr back, playing in this game. She still doesn't look 100% sharp to me, but at the same time, every time they're getting the ball, Steph Catley, they're trying to force the ball to Sam Kerr, and it's just not really on at all.
Long ball by Carter up the right, headed away by Hunt. It's come down towards Hemp, and the offside flag is up. Free kick to Australia. Sorry, Leanne.
No, if they kept to their game plan, which we've seen them play in previous games, playing it around, Hayley Rasso's getting on the ball, Steph Catley is getting down the left-hand side and looking more inside to a Rasso or a Van Egmond, who's on the bench, obviously. I think they're just trying to force the ball to Sam Kerr, and they really look sloppy. I mean, there's still a long time in this game, I keep saying that, but they've been really flat. If you look at the game yesterday, it was 0-0 up until the 80th minute. We saw 3 goals, but the quality of that game, for me, was far greater than this game. I think it's been quite flat with regards to the quality within the game.
Australia can't pick a pass at the moment. Ball is bouncing in the midway point of the Australian half, and Hemp has beaten the defender to it. Hemp goes for goal on the half volley, and Arnold has to make a diving save. It might have been going wide. Arnold stretched out 2 hands to turn it behind. England corner. The Lionesses lead by a goal to 0.
Lauren Hemp did very well to keep this one down because she was completely off balance. I actually thought it was going quite wide. I'll have to see it again from another position, but Lauren Hemp catches hold of that so well.
Well, Mackenzie Arnold wanted to make sure there, Leanne. Sprawling save. England have a corner as we tick towards the hour mark. England playing towards the half to our right in the second period. There are England flags. Crosses of St George behind the goal. Big gap between the stands and the field of play. There's a running track at Stadium Australia. Corner to be taken by Greenwood. Left-footed, lofted in high. Millie Bright's header, and it's wide. Bright got up, 8 yards out. Doesn't score too many for England, and had real heartache in the semi-final in 2019 against the US when she was sent off. The captain very nearly put England 2-0 up there. Goal kick.
Great ball in again from Alex Greenwood, but the Australians were at 6s and 7s. I mean, Caitlin Ford initially was picking up Millie Bright, then she fell. She'll be probably disappointed to not put that in the back of the net, Millie Bright, because in the end it was a completely unopposed header, but good positioning from her, good willingness. But I cannot believe in the end, Sam Kerr was looking over her shoulder as if to say, who's picking up Millie Bright? They look so unorganised.
Should she score?
Yes.
I think she probably should from that sort of range. Here is Carter for England on the edge of the penalty area. Carter drives the ball high up to the halfway line. That's going to go out of play for a throw. Australia 0, England 1. Our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk live at Stadium Australia. Courtney, are England still in control of the semi-final?
I think less so. I think you'd expect Australia to come out, and probably one of the things that Serena Wiegman would have said at half-time, look, keep it tight for the next 10-15 minutes because you know that they're going to throw the kitchen sink out of it. So yes, in control, but Australia looking a little better than they did in the first half.
Here is Fowler on the halfway line for Australia. Forward to Kerr, the pink boots on, turns away from Carter, but then has no support as she threads the ball down the inside left channel. Ford didn't make the run. Ford was static, statuesque, and England sweep it clear downfield through Lucy Bronze. And now Lauren Hemp is looking to pick the pocket of the defender Hunt. Australia look vulnerable with those 2 centre halves, but back they go to goalkeeper Mackenzie Arnold, and Australia have it again. England have never lost a competitive match under Serena Wiegman. They're unbeaten in all of their previous 18 World Cup matches when they have scored first, and this is an Australia side who are into their first ever World Cup semi-final. It's on home soil, but they haven't delivered yet. Nearly an hour played. Here is Carter, midway inside her own half, and now scooped straight out of play by Walsh under the pressure of the challenge of Katrina Gorry. Australia trying to generate some momentum and rhythm into their play, but they're struggling to do that. England do look relatively well organised for the most part, and the referee has Carter made a slight tackle on Ford, but the throw has gone Australia's way. It looked like the last touch was off the Australian player. Australia have it 5 yards to the corner of the penalty area. Lovely turn by Fowler in between the blue shirts of Walsh and Bronze. Fowler holds it up. Catley looked in an offside position as she delivers that left wing cross. It's blazed long, it's overhit. That's not the sort of quality you usually get from Steph Catley, and England survive, and England have a throw.
Yeah, for sure, and that's an example. I think Mary Fowler does very well here, comes away with the ball, but you'd expect better quality there from Steph Catley. She's one of the best at delivering that ball, especially on the run. But we're seeing glimpses of in the last 5 minutes or so. England need to just keep doing exactly what they're doing, keep control of the game, because we know individually Australia do have that type of quality. I think Katrina Gorry has been very good for Australia. Apart from that, I think they've offered not really that much at all.
If England do reach the final on Sunday, not only commentary on the Talksport network from 11 o'clock in the morning, but also lots of build-up throughout the week, starting every weekday on Talksport Breakfast from 6 o'clock in the morning. Alan Brazil in the hot seat from Wednesday to Friday. And Jeff Stelling will join the Talksport Breakfast team in December. White and Jordan from 10 till 1 every weekday morning. Here's Kerr for Australia, crossing high left-footed, headed away at the far post by Daly for England, part of that back five. Now it's come to Catley. Catley corner the box, finds Kerr, reverse ball, right-footed. This time a towering header cleared by Greenwood. Toon can't pick up the second ball. Toon, the England goal scorer. England lead 1-0. Good spell this for Australia. Tearing down the right is Carpenter. Greenwood gets across. Greenwood tried to shepherd the ball behind, then realised it wasn't going to drift out of play, so had to nudge it into touch. There's the noise of the Australian fans.
Better decision from Alex Greenwood, I like that. You know, she looked like she was trying to usher it out and then couldn't, so just get it out. If in doubt, get it out the way.
The coach is trying to get them going as well. Gustafsson from the near side touchline. Here is Fowler, corner of the 18-yard box. Left-footed reverse ball into the penalty area. That's a poor one. No height on it. Thumped away by Greenwood on the volley. It's come back to Hunt. Hunt's long ball for Australia is intercepted by the England defender Jess Carter, and now Stanway can maybe launch a counter-attack. Forward to Bronze. It's 3 against 3 here maybe for England if they can counter-attack quickly. Bronze down the right-hand side. Russo far post, and it was a little jaded the run into the box from Russo, so Bronze just held up the play. England have completely slowed the game down to walking pace through Stanway, and that's allowed Australia to get the gold and green shirts behind the ball. This semi-final is not done yet. England would love the cushion in a second goal, Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, I think that, but in that 3v3 situation, I'd expect them to go for goal. You know, go, break and go.
And now Australia on the break here. Kerr driving up the middle. Ford is to her left. Kerr, edge of the penalty area, shoots! Into the top corner! Sam Kerr at the World Cup for Australia! It just had to be her! Back in the lineup and scoring one of the most important goals in Australian football history. England the peg back by the player they know best. Kerr with a very, very special goal, and the roof has lifted off Stadium Australia. Incredible noise. Australia won, England won. First chance for Sam Kerr, first sight of goal, and my how she's made her mark on a World Cup semi-final.
What an absolute hero Sam Kerr is. Absolutely brilliant goal. When she was running through with this ball, I was actually pointing to Joe on the screen saying, pass it to Caitlin Full, pass it to Caitlin Full. No, bang, touch out of her foot. Absolutely brilliant strike. Game on now, Joe. I don't know how this has happened. I don't know where this has come from. England have been in complete control. Mary Earps has absolutely no chance. This is a brilliant strike from Sam Kerr.
A very special goal from a very special player. Maybe the goal of the tournament from Sam Kerr in the context, and given that she's had such a frustrating run at her own home tournament. Australia's all-time leading goal scorer with her 64th Australia goal, and 75,000 fans have gone mad. The scenes of celebration, people hugging in the stands and swaying around, and England are shell-shocked, but England maybe only had themselves to blame in the build-up for being sloppy on the attack. They gave the ball away, but they were punished in the most extraordinary manner, and now it's 1-1, 20 minutes into the second half.
I'm so happy for Sam Kerr. I'm not happy it's come against England, but I think in that opening game, when you saw her doing the national anthem from the dugout, football could be a cruel game, picking up that injury before the tournament. A couple of days before it started, she was in tears on the sideline, watching her country play in her home nation. So football can be so great sometimes, and it's such a fantastic strike.
Sixth World Cup goal for Kerr, and now England are in a little bit of trouble. Australia won, England won. And the crowd are up here in Sydney, and Kerr's got it again. Caught in the penalty area, weaving beyond 2 and 3, tackled by Carter at the last touch off Kerr. Goal kick. Well, I'm sure the referee said goal kick there originally, but she must have changed her mind, and she must now have given an Australia corner.
Yeah, that's a difficult one for the referee, because even watching it back there, it's hard to tell, but this game is completely turned on its head. I mean, England were in complete control. I still don't think it was our best performance, but Australia never looked like scoring at all, and that's why you have a player like Sam Kerr, and that's why you play her, because she can come alive when you really need her.
Green and gold everywhere you look. 1-1 the score. Cooney Cross with a corner. The referee wants it taken again. Well, she may have a lot of experience, Tori Penso. I'm not sure the quality of the refereeing in this semi-final has necessarily always been great.
No, I agree with you on that, Joe. I think a player like Sam Kerr, though, going back to her, I think this is what makes her one of the best players in the world. Because when you need something, yeah, for sure. When you need something, the best players and the greatest find the way.
Cooney cross, take two for the in-swinging corner. 1-1, midway to the second half. Whipped in right to the far post. Earps flapping, punches away one-handed. Good goalkeeping, surrounded in the 6-yard box. Fowler's got it dead ball line. These are nervy moments for the Lionesses now. Fowler's cross, headed away, out to the edge of the penalty area. Australia hunts the centre-half, thought about taking a swing at it. Instead, decides to go back to Carpenter. Australia are easily having their best spell of the game. They've got the equaliser, the momentum's with them. Headed by Kerr, saved by Earps. Straight at the goalkeeper. And England are on the ropes.
Wow, absolutely incredible stuff. It's amazing what a goal can do to change the momentum completely. Australia now seem like they've kicked into gear. They've seen the Australia that we've seen throughout this tournament finally is come after that Sam Kerr goal. And really good stop from Mary Earps in the corner because she had to have a really strong hand. She was getting completely overloaded with all the Australian players coming at her and amongst her own teammates as well. And she did really good to get the ball away, but England just need to settle down a little bit. It'll be interesting to see. We know Serena Wiegman doesn't panic. I said it in the game against Colombia, we don't need to panic, but I think right now Australia look like the team that's got the upper hand. 10 minutes ago it's hard to tell where Australia goal was going to come from. Now they're combining passes together. We look like we're on the back foot, they're on the front foot, so we just need to settle down a little bit.
Jan Sanderson, former bronze medalist with England at the World Cup. England have never reached a World Cup final. The Lionesses, of course, only the men's side in 66 have ever got that far. There's a coming together momentarily on the far side, I think between Toon and Rasso. The referee just has a quick word. Free kick to England just shy of halfway. Well, Tony Gustafsson, the Australian boss, was spurring on the fans moments before the equaliser. And in Sam Kerr, they have maybe the most gifted player at the World Cup. She didn't even play in the first matches. She didn't play in the group stages because of an injury. She only made substitute appearances in the round of 16 and the quarter-finals, but she started the semi-final, and with her first glimpse at goal, she's produced the best moment of the tournament so far, and maybe an iconic moment in Women's World Cup history, that equaliser to make it 1-1.
Absolutely iconic, Joe. I mean, these are the types of moments that give you the chills in our own country. She's really carried that nation for a number of years, been through the good, the bad and the ugly.
Driven forward by Millie Bright, what an excellent ball to find Lucy Bronze, right on edge of the penalty area, chips in the cross, all the way across the goal line. Nobody in blue could turn it in for England. It only needed a faint, glancing touch, but it stays 1-1 with over 20 minutes to go.
What a ball from Lucy Bronze. Absolutely brilliant ball. It was difficult in the end because the ball had a lot of spin on it, and I think that's what kind of her technique was what took it towards goal, but nobody anticipated that at all. It was a brilliant ball.
That was better from England. They've shown strength in adversity throughout the tournament, and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, our England reporter, watching on in the stadium. England are really going to need that strength in adversity in the final 20 minutes or so of normal time.
Yeah, they really are, Joe. This Australian crowd have found their voice, certainly. You know, unbelievable from Sam Kerr. Your big players in the big moments. I thought she made the wrong decision. I thought she should have played with Caitlin Ford, but what do I know? Finds the top corner.
Here's a chance for Russo in the penalty area. Header just wide. Hemp dug out a left wing cross. Russo glancing header. Those two combining again. Inches wide of the far post, and suddenly it's end-to-end in the World Cup semi-final, live on Talksport 2. Oh, that almost kissed the woodwork, and it's still 1-1.
It did. It was a brilliant header from Alessia Russo. You could see she was almost looking like she was about to go and celebrate. Mackenzie Arnold did not have that covered at all. Fantastic header.
Forward by Cooney, cross for Australia. This is the semi-final we were looking for. Kerr trying to dart through the middle. I tell you what, she was only a couple of feet closer to the ball from lifting that over Mary Earps, Sam Kerr. Goalkeeping got a good starting position. England have possession back.
It's absolutely incredible how much Australia have kicked into gear since that goal. Everything they're doing is coming off. You can see Cooney Cross there was trying to play that ball in the first half. Sam Kerr was making those runs, the one where she was offside, but we haven't really seen them stretch the field of play. But Australia have certainly come alive. You know, England just need to take their foot off, like put their foothold in this game. You know, possess the ball, get hold of it.
Long up the middle by Bryson. Hemp might reach this. Carpenter gets back. Hemp is there. Hemp has put it in. England lead again in the semi-final. Lauren Hemp with a poacher's goal at such a crucial time. And England are less than 20 minutes away from a first ever World Cup final as Lionesses. Lauren Hemp, with the heart of a Lioness, never gave up the ghost. She poked it under the goalkeeper. Australia 1, England 2. England are back in front.
Wow, Lauren Hemp certainly never gives up. We saw against Colombia. I think it's a really good ball from Millie Bright initially, but I think it's really poor defending from Australia. You can see Sam Kerr looking as if to say, what on earth are we doing in that back line? You can see Ellie Carpenter. Now Mackenzie Arnold doesn't come out, just gets caught underneath her. Ellie Carpenter has to do better. Lauren Hemp anticipates it and again isn't going to get a more cleaner opportunity in front of goal. Ellie Carpenter has to do better, taking nothing away from that goal from Lauren Hemp. Absolutely incredible stuff, because Australia had the momentum. England couldn't get their foothold in the game again, and now the game is back on. What a game.
Australia 1, England 2. The momentum is back with the Lionesses. Third goal of this World Cup for Lauren Hemp, and she scored in back-to-back matches, in the quarter-finals and now in the semi-finals. And now can England hold out for the final 19 minutes or so, as Australia go up the other end and win a corner straight away, and Lucy Bronze is down.
Yeah, those ones hurt for sure. Lucy Bronze just took a ball to the face and it's gone out for a corner. But this game is certainly, I said it was quite flat in the first half, a lot of unforced errors, but certainly in this second half, since Sam Kerr's goal, it's been absolutely brilliant.
What is this? The moment where England, having got the second goal, can hang on to their lead. Australia are making a change. Hayley Rasso is going off, and Courtney Vine, who scored the winning penalty in the quarter-final shootout against France, is onto the field. Already an Australian hero, and they really have galvanised the whole nation really with their performances, much like England did at the Euros last summer. But it's all about winning at the World Cup, and England are winning 2-1, but Australia have a corner on the near side. It's going to be taken by Cooney Cross. England have got almost everybody back for this. We're in the 73rd minute. Leanne Sanderson nervy in the commentary box. Cooney Cross with the in-swinging delivery, high to the far post. It's going to evade everybody. Go behind and you can breathe again, Leanne.
Yeah, I know, I'm sitting here really tensely, Joe. I think Australia didn't really capitalise on the fact that Lucy Bronze was still off the field of play. Find the player that was marking her, easier said than done. But yeah, certainly we've got a game on our hands. I'm sitting here, I'm so nervous. I just want the clock to hurry up.
2-1 to England against Australia in the semi-final. England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is in the stands at Stadium Australia. Courtney, Lauren Hemp proving you never give up the ghost on a football pitch. A poacher's goal, that could be the one England need.
No, you don't, and I think it's just really typified what England have been about this tournament, never giving up. Don't get me wrong, I think between the goalkeeper Arnold and Hunt and Carpenter, it's real poor defending, and they'll be disappointed, but Lauren Hemp did ever so well.
Courtney will bring us all of the post-match interviews. You'll hear from the England boss Serena Wiegman on the Talksport network, and hopefully a couple of players as well. We have got just over 15 minutes of normal time to go. Australia 2-1 down to England. Here's Kerr by the dead ball line. Kerr, who got Australia back on level terms, but not for very long. Ford on the corner of the box, blocked off. This time by Stanway. And Stanway, ever tenacious, tries to hammer it forward towards halfway. She was fouled there by Ford, sliding in late. Stanway sitting down now. I think England are just trying to take the sting out of the game. They have a free kick.
Yeah, there was a foul late from Caitlin Ford. Georgia Stanway has every right to stay down if she wants to. I think they just need to take this thing out of the game a little bit to a certain degree. It'll be interesting to see again what Serena Wiegman does. She probably will keep the same team up until late on in the game, maybe bring Beth England on or a Chloe Kelly to kind of just take those balls into the corner and see out the game, stretch the field as well. I think some fresh legs right now might do England some good.
No sign of any imminent changes, though. Serena Wiegman has come out to the edge of the technical area, mostly been sitting down in the dugout. A lot of the England fans are behind the goal to our right. That was the goal that was the end of the field where Hemp has scored that second goal, just poking it into the bottom corner, catching out the Australia back nine, and it's 2-1 England. The ball on the halfway line with now 15 minutes left plus stoppage time, and a throw to Australia, who are running out of time to save their World Cup in front of their own fans.
They are running out of time, and it was almost since that Sam Kerr goal they kindly kicked into gear, and then they become really good. The Australia, we know that they've played throughout this tournament, whereas now that goal that's come from Lauren Hemp, a mistake from Ellie Carpenter, should do better for sure. Lauren Hemp's there, anticipates, puts it in the back of the net.
Another capacity crowd at Stadium Australia. Australia have it with Carpenter. Steers the ball to the far side. Wide right. Opportunity here for Caitlin Ford to cross. In fact, it's Vine who delivers. Headed away by Greenwood. Out to the edge of the England box. The loose ball collected by Lauren Hemp. Hemp is calm in possession. What maturity Lauren Hemp has shown at the age of 23 throughout this tournament, Leanne.
I think she's been brilliant.
Oh, and Rousseau's dispossessed the defender. It's another mistake at the back, this time by Hunt. Rousseau inside the penalty area. Nobody in blue really forward in support. Has to go back to Hemp. England slow the play down. Hemp square to Stanway. 30 yards out and a shot that is miles over the bar.
For sure, you could see Lucy Bronze was looking for the ball down the right-hand side. Georgia Stanway's almost smiling to herself because it was a really poor attempt, but if you don't shoot, you don't score. So I think England, finally come into this game and getting that foothold in the game. Alessia Russo there really pounced on that back line. I think Australia, I mentioned it before the game, Lana Kennedy not being able to play was massive for them, and I think their back line has been there for the taking.
What a great tackle by Kira Walsh on the halfway line for England, and then the ball is fired long up to the feet of Russo, who controlled it brilliantly on the edge of the D. Russo plays it to the left. Here is Ella Toon. Now Russo, central position, little back lift and a deflected shot that's going to spiral behind for a corner. And didn't Alessia Russo do impressively there? You are listening to Australia 1, England 2 in the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 on Talksport 2 in association with Xero Small Business Accounting Software. Dream bigger, England 2-1 up. Here's former Lioness Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, really good play from Alessia Russo, stretching that field of play, not really having much support up with her. We haven't seen Rachel Daly being able to get in support as we have in previous games, but some games we might have to do more defensive work. I think now this would certainly take a lot of the pressure off. Nice delivery from Alex Greenwood in. Millie Bright header. Rest is history.
12.5 minutes to go. Let's see if Leanne can predict the future in that crystal ball. Here is Greenwood. England looking for a 3-1 lead. High towards Millie Bright. There she is. She made contact with it, but it's gone wide. Mystic Leanne Sanderson, although it wasn't quite in the back of the net.
No, it wasn't quite in the back of the net, but Alex Greenwood's delivery has been brilliant, and I cannot believe again Millie Bright has got a run on Caitlin Ford. She hasn't gone with her. I think Caitlin Ford is the player that's supposed to be picking her up because Sam Kerr's facing the other way. So again, good delivery from Alex Greenwood.
Australia are 12 minutes away from elimination, 12 minutes plus stoppage time. Here is Courtney Vine, the flame-haired Vine, right hand side, driving into the penalty area, pulling it back across, cleared away by Greenwood. Great composure Greenwood, although she's given it straight back to the feet of Carpenter. Now Kerr in a crossing position, whips it in high, nodded away by Lucy Bronze, cushioned the header down to the feet of Stanway. England slow the play down, trying all they can to take any momentum out of the Australia attack while still looking a threat on the counter. England still no sign of any changes, we don't think yet. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk?
No, I think, look, they've just got to keep going, England. No silly mistakes now. In terms of the changes, don't see anything going on at the moment in terms of substitution. So I don't know whether Serena Wiegman is just quite happy with what she's seeing, doesn't want to disrupt it. But I think sooner rather than later, agree with what Leanne Sanderson said in commentary, fresh legs up top, because Alessia Russo and Lauren Hemp have worked really hard tonight.
Australia 1, England 2. England heading towards the first World Cup final of any senior England side for 57 years. And 1966, and that famous triumph at the old Wembley all of those decades ago. The Lionesses looking to write their own history in 2023. Lucy Bronze has got a throw down by the corner flag for the European champions. Bronze can go square and infield to Hemp. Gets it back, teases the ball back to Stanway. It's only really had a tune in the middle for England. Nobody now inside the penalty area. Australia sitting off though. Carter's got it midway inside the Australia half, and England just holding on to the ball neatly now. Stanway right in front of the England dugout, plays it square. That's a slightly careless ball by Stanway, but England have somehow managed to keep hold of it. Hemp trying to juggle it over the head of the defender. It's come back to Lucy Bronze in the right wing position. That's another great cross from Bronze, well taken by Arnold, the Australia goalkeeper dressed all in black, ahead of Alessia Russo.
Good goalkeeper from Mackenzie Arnold, really good ball in the box from Lucy Bronze. I like the pace on it. You can see Alessia Russo also coming into the game, stretching that field of play. Lauren Hemp getting a little bit more joy, and I like the fact that we're not just going to the corner straight away. Yes, game management, but if the opportunity is there to put the ball in the box and have one of our players on the end of it, then why not at this point?
10 minutes to go. England lead 2-1. Another change for Australia. Off goes Polkinghorne, the centre half. On comes a striker, a forward player in Emily Van Egmond, who has played before in the WSL and actually has played a lot of football at this World Cup, thanks in part to the absence earlier in the tournament of Sam Kerr. Now she comes on as Australia look to force extra time.
Yeah, and Emily Van Egmond hasn't played that much this year either, based upon an injury leading into the tournament with the San Diego Wave. She came on for 2 games, and it was important for her to get those minutes coming into a tournament like this. So she's definitely somebody that can make something happen, especially coming from deep or playing higher in that advanced role alongside Sam Kerr, because they have to throw everything at it at this point.
England closing in maybe here. 9 minutes to go plus stoppage time. England lead by the odd goal in 3. Australia have it down the near side left touchline. The number 10 Van Egmond chasing straight away, but Carter will shrug her aside, and England have a throw in their right back position. Carter will take it. The Australian fans trying to rouse their team. They have the vast majority of the 75,000 crowd in the stadium tonight, but it's England who'll be back here on Sunday as it stands for the World Cup final. Carter waiting to take the throw, being ushered to do so by the referee, who is taking quite a lenient stance on England's slowing of the game. It's won back by Fowler though for Australia. Wide to the left and Ford. Ford is level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Sets up Catley on the overlap. Catley tries to pull it back. She was blocked off by a retreating Hemp and steered away by Lucy Bronze. Look at Lauren Hemp scoring the goal that's put England in front of the semi-final at one end and tracking all the way back to her own corner flag at the other end. Still England have a lot of defending to do. Foul on the edge of the box. Great ball! Kerr's header over! Difficult header, but a massive chance for Australia. Kerr head in her hands now, having just headed the ball over the top.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic ball from Mary Fowler. I don't think Sam Kerr knew exactly where she was on the field of play, because I think if she was a little bit further out, it was always going to be a really difficult technique to get that on goal. But I wouldn't put it past Sam Kerr to be able to put that in the back of the net, because we know the quality that she possesses.
Heart-in-mouth moment for England, but Australia failed to score and England still lead 2-1. And now Kerr is turning and driving forward up the middle again. She's got support to the right-hand side. Here's Vine with a right-footed shot. Spilled by Earps. Carter gets it away and then hammered away by Bright as well. What an intervention by Jess Carter, because otherwise Australia would have had a tap-in from the rebound after Earps spilled the initial shot.
Yeah, well done Jess Carter. Fantastic play. Good play again from Sam Kerr to play it out to Vine. It was a really good strike. Good save in the end, I think, from Mary Earps to get a hand on that. It was a really good impactful sub that they've made in Vine, and usually in those situations when the strike comes off and Mary Earp parries it out, you're waiting for an Australian player to tap it in the back of the net. But fortunately it fell to Jess Carter. Emily Van Egmond couldn't quite get on the end of it, and in the end we got lucky.
England have come up against a lot in the course of the tournament, but they stand firm in Sydney still. Australia 1, England 2. Hemp racing down the right hand side. 7 minutes left. 7 minutes plus stoppage time between England, the Lionesses and the World Cup final. Live on Sunday on the Talksport network. What's the referee doing here? Hemp had tried to delay the restart of play. Word in the ear of Hemp from the referee. Hemp really should be booked by the referee for delaying play like that, but she wasn't. Here is Carpenter for Australia, nudging it forward down the far side, the right towards Courtney Vine. She's level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Infield it goes to Fowler. Fowler edge of the penalty area shoots. That takes a massive deflection. Australia corner, 6 to go. If England do go through to the final, we'll be live on Talksport with build-up from 10 o'clock on Sunday. Commentary on Talksport from 11 o'clock in the morning. The World Cup final. At the moment, it's going to be England against Spain, but Australia still have something to say about that in the closing stages. Leanne Sanderson, they have a corner.
Really good play for Mary Fowler. I think she's had a really good second half. Fortunately for us, she didn't have a really good first half, but second half I think she's been exceptional.
Australia fans bouncing behind the goal to our left. Golden green shirts are littering the England penalty area. Corner whipped in high and into the 6-yard box. Earth punches Kerr, has volleyed it wide. An unbelievable miss from one of the game's all-time greats. She had extra time on her right boot, and Sam Kerr, with the goal virtually at her mercy, all alone, has stopped that volley wide from the 6-yard line. 2-1 England it remains.
I was just waiting for the net to ripple. If you want the ball to fall to anybody, it'd be Sam Kerr. I'm not quite sure how she's missed that one. I mean, we'll forgive her because she's only human and these things happen in football, but you can see on her face, you know, I was just waiting for the net to ripple, thinking it was definitely going to make it 2-2.
Arms outstretched, could not believe it, Sam Kerr. Australia still seeking equaliser. Extra time and penalty should we need it, but England hope we don't go anywhere near that far. Serena Wiegmann is standing on the edge of the technical area with Chloe Kelly ready to come on for England, who lead 2-1. Long ball for Australia, up to the edge of the England penalty area. England are really having to fight and scrap now. Every ounce of the experience that they picked up at last summer's Euros, where they went on to become the European champions. If they're to become world champions, they need to show more of that grit and fight. And they're on the break with Hemp, up the middle, through towards Russo. Russo in the area, Russo to finish it! Alessia Russo sends England to the World Cup final. The England players race off the bench in celebration. Russo is mobbed by her teammates. There are tears of Australian supporters in the crowd. There'll be tears of joy for the Lionesses tonight. It's going to be England against Spain on Sunday, live on Talksport. England have finally silenced Stadium Australia. They've come to the Lions' Den, the Lionesses. They have tamed the co-hosts, and England are going to be on the crest of glory. They're going to be in a World Cup final, the Lionesses, for the very first time in Lionesses history. Australia 1, England 3, Alessia Russo, absolutely deadly.
Absolutely brilliant play from Lauren Hemp. Does everything right, turns on a dime on the halfway line, plays a lovely ball to Alessia Russo, and none other than Alessia Russo, who's there, a cross-field goal, puts it in the back of the net, and it looks like it could be her last kick of the game, Joe, because it looks like she potentially could be coming out for Chloe Kelly, but absolutely brilliant. I've got the chills, genuinely. I'm not going to cry, Joe, I promise, but this is absolutely amazing. Fantastic finish from Alessia Russo.
That is a special England moment, a moment of history. Serena Wiegmann celebrating. She was hugged by the goalkeeping coach, Darren Ward. The England subs all round down the touchline to celebrate. And in the great sporting battle that is Australia against England, it's going to be the Lionesses who end out on top, surely, in the semi-finals of the World Cup. There are 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. But even Australia, with all the spirit they've shown, surely can't rescue it from here. England lead 3-1.
No, football could be a cruel game. You know, on one end, Alessia Russo's put the ball in the back of the net, and then Sam Kerr, about 5 minutes before that, should have put the ball in the back of the net. It would have been 2-2. So if you don't take your chances in a game, ultimately you'll be punished. But I think this game, you know, really in the second half has come alive. And Alessia Russo, last kick of the game. Imagine if the ball would have gone out of play about a minute before that. She wouldn't have been on the field of play. So absolutely brilliant finish. And I think England deserved this. I knew there was going to be goals in this game. My prediction was actually going to be 3-2 in extra time. But I think Australia in the second half certainly got better, but nowhere near good enough overall.
Beaming smile for Russo. She's off the field now. Chloe Kelly on, and Alex Chidiac makes her first World Cup appearance at this tournament for Australia, on in place of Katrina Gorry. Australia surely a beaten side, 3-1 down. England are heading for the World Cup final. Header away by Carter. No heroic failure for England at this World Cup. Good turn by Ford. She's midway inside opposition territory. Wide it goes to the right, the far side of the field. Opportunity for the cross from Carpenter, and that's a thumping header away by Alex Greenwood. England have deserved to lead again. Chidiac for Australia crosses left-footed. Now Millie Bright emerges through the crowd to clatter it here on her head again. England concede the throw, but we're into the final minute of normal time, and they have a 2-goal advantage now against Australia. The ball is at the feet of Australia's Hunt. Middle of the England half, and that's a bad ball forward. It's straight out of play. Commentary of the final on Sunday we will bring you on Talksport. It surely will be England against Spain. England are going to bring on the defender Niamh Charles for stoppage time. Ella Toone is going off, and again I want to pay tribute really to Serena Wiegmann more than anything here, Leanne, because she resisted the temptation to make any changes. She's stuck with the front two pairing of Hemp and Russo for the knockout stages. Ella Toone left in the side tonight. She got the opening goal. All credit to Serena Wiegmann again.
Absolutely. In Serena we trust. Absolutely incredible. 2 back-to-back World Cup finals for her with different countries. Absolutely sensational. And I think sometimes the manager's the one that comes under a lot of pressure when the team's underperforming. But Serena Wiegmann has been so integral in our success, especially coming here. You know, Australia, backs against the wall, 75,000, mostly Australian fans. There's still 6 minutes to go, but the fact that we've got this cushion in the game, you know, with regards to Alessia Russo, goal. I think that's made a massive difference.
Leave Charles on for Ella-Toone. 6 minutes of added time. The Australia coach Gustafsson says, unbelievable. Arms up into the air. He wants more added time. I thought there might be a bit more than 6, given what we've seen at the tournament, but it's England who lead 3-1 in Sydney. And surely that is going to be that. They've never made it this far in terms of reaching a World Cup final, have the Lionesses. Never before today. Spain against England will be the World Cup final as it stands. We welcome listeners on Talksport. Australia 1, England 3 at Stadium Australia in Sydney in the World Cup semi-final. And England are just 5 minutes away, 5 minutes of stoppage time now from reaching their first ever World Cup final, the Lionesses, and the first World Cup final of any England senior team since 1966. Ella-Toone gave England the first half lead, a stunning Sam Kerr equaliser for Australia, but England's front two of Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo have added further goals, and England are on the brink of making history here. Former Lioness Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, I'm just so delighted we're part of this, Joe. It's absolutely brilliant. You know, I've been there myself in 2015 when we lost to Japan, and obviously in France same thing happened, but this is a different England under Serena Wiegman. They're resilient. Whatever's thrown against them, whatever their backs are against the wall, they go behind. Against Colombia, they come back. Kira Walsh gets injured, brings in Laura Coombs, then Katie Zellin plays. You know, everything that is thrown against them, they can handle it. And a lot of that goes to a lot of the work they've done off the field of play. You might see all that's happening on the field, but a lot of work that's gone off the field as well.
Here come Australia with Vine, right-hand into the penalty area, pulling it back into the box towards Chidiac, the substitute. She goes down under the challenge of Kira Walsh. England get it clear through Rachel Daly. 2 of the 6 added minutes have been played. Australia 1, England 3. Australia still fighting hard, but England have come, the Lionesses, to the Lions' Den of Stadium Australia and have got the job done very nearly, it feels like. So many iconic Australia and England sporting clashes over the years, all of the Ashes matchups that we've seen in cricket so many times. England's Rugby World Cup win over Australia 20 years ago at this very stadium, and now the Lionesses on the verge of reaching a World Cup final against Spain. It's Australia on the attack, but Ford is blocked off. Georgia Stanway clears long for England. Heroic performances all over the field for England tonight in Sydney, Leanne.
Definitely, and I think it's interesting because we spoke a lot about before the tournament, everybody did about the injuries. It's like incredible that we've got to this point without our captain.
Header away by Millie Bright, England's stand-in skipper at this tournament. Yes, England have been without Leah Williamson and Beth Mead and Fran Kirby through this World Cup, but it hasn't stopped them surely now from making the final. Less than 3 minutes of the 6 added to play. Australia 1, England 3. England against Spain, it will be, it looks like on Sunday, there will be commentary of that game on Talksport, with coverage beginning at 10 o'clock in the morning and kick-off at 11 o'clock this Sunday, live at Stadium Australia. As Hemp is fouled, the England player who put them 2-1 up in this last 4 tie, and England have a free kick down by the corner flag. We saw this resilience, we saw this heart from England at the Euros last summer when they went on to become European champions, and we've seen it on the biggest stage of all throughout the tournament so far. Performances haven't always been great, but England have delivered when it's truly mattered. 2 of the 6 added minutes remain. 3-1 to England. Long ball downfield by Lucy Bronze, which Chloe Kelly is chasing. The Australia defender Hunt gets there. It's a goal kick to Australia away to our right-hand side. And Chloe Kelly has very deliberately dribbled a second ball onto the field of play to delay the restart, and Kelly is booked, but it shouldn't matter because England, as I say, have that 2-goal advantage, and England will have some selection dilemmas ahead of the final because Lauren James, who you might remember was sent off in the round of 16, will be available after her ban. 90 seconds to go. England are so nearly there. Here is Lucy Bronze down the right. They've had semi-final heartache before England, beaten in 2019, beaten in 2015, but 3-1 up today against Australia. Australia look a beaten team. Some in the crowd are starting to file out of this 75,000 capacity arena, but there are plenty of England fans still there, holding up the flags of St George, waving their red and white scarves, ready to celebrate the moment, with England on the verge of heading into a World Cup final. Stanway's by the corner flag, the ball is out of play. Australia throw, which Ford takes quickly, but it's deep inside the Australia half. It's just where England want it, Leanne Sanderson.
I'm absolutely loving the way that England have managed this game. It's not going to be a clear... I could see Chloe Kelly was going to kick the ball on, and I thought, don't be so obvious. The first touch was there and she could have made it discreet, but the way they've managed this game, and the game management has been absolutely brilliant. It really has. Those dark arts, those things you have to do from the minute one, I think the way this game has been managed has been incredible.
We've got 35 seconds to go. Australia 1, England 3. The World Cup final beckons for England. Long ball from Australia down the middle. Too long for Sam Kerr, and all the way through to the England goalkeeper, Mary Earps. They've not just quietened the crowd at Stadium Australia, they've silenced the crowd at Stadium Australia tonight. The England players, the substitutes on the bench, are ready to run on and celebrate. There'll still be one huge game to go on Sunday, live on Talksport against Spain. The final, England are nearly there. The ball is sliced up into the air by Stanway, right in front of the head coach, Serena Wiegman. We've had the 6 added minutes. The referee looks at her watch and blows the final whistle. The Lionesses have done it. Through to a World Cup final for the first time ever. And for the first time for any England senior side since those famous fabled days of 1966. Serena Wiegman's European champions are now just one game away from bringing the World Cup back home. A team of players who never rest on their laurels, who always show strength in adversity, who have written more history tonight. They've taken on the co-hosts Australia in Sydney at the heart of Australian football, and they have beaten Australia by 3-1. And it will be England against Spain in the Women's World Cup final, live in Sydney on Sunday. We'll have commentary on Talksport, and England will have the hopes and footballing dreams of a nation on their shoulders. They took the lead in the first half through Adatoon. Sam Kerr with a remarkable equaliser for Australia. Tears among the Australian fans who are still in the stadium. But Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo with second half goals to win the game for the Lionesses, and a huge smile on the face of Serena Wiegman. There's still a lot of work for England to do. They still need to go out on Sunday and finish the job, but the Lionesses have ended that semi-final hoodoo. They are into the final. It is finished. Australia 1, England 3.
Oh, I've got goosebumps, Leanne Sanderson. You and I hate Sweet Caroline, but I tell you what, I have never been so happy to hear it in my life. That was just wonderful to watch.
Oh, incredible, Faye. I'm trying to stop myself from crying, to be honest. Same as at the Euros last summer. It's just amazing. You know, the fact that we've gone there in front of 75,000 people. We don't like Sweet Caroline, but we will forgive it for today because we are in the final for the first time since 1966, male or female. It's amazing, honestly. I'm just loving this so much, and this is the first time we've seen them celebrate, Faye, because we spoke about this every single game last summer. We saw them celebrate every game like this, and honestly, it's amazing. It really is.
Honestly, I'm the same as you. I feel emotional, and I hate that. This is why we're involved in football, isn't it? For these kind of moments, and you watch these women who have had to fight so hard to get to this point. You know, it was only 2015 that you won the bronze medal. You were so close to getting to a major final. What's it going to mean to this team?
Oh, do you know what? It's really weird, Faye, because obviously for me, I've been there as a player, and we just kind of, you know, lost in the last minute to the game against Japan with that unfortunate own goal. And now to be on the other side doing the games and seeing the growth of the team and the growth of everybody getting involved in women's football and everybody visibly watching this. I said today, there's probably a lot of people during 11 and 1 a.m. Between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. that weren't working today due to watching this game. Who would have ever thought that? You know, that people would fall in love with this team. And it's amazing, honestly. I can't wait for Sunday. And, you know, in the 2015, when we got to the third and fourth playoff, we celebrated that winning the bronze medal because it was the furthest we'd ever gone. This team getting into that game now with how much they've grown, they wouldn't have wanted to play against Sweden on Saturday. They want to be in that final on Sunday, and they are there, and they absolutely deserve this. Absolutely amazing.
And
amazing.
It's progress as well. More progress under Serena Wiegman. And I watched a moment a second ago as they all go in for the arms in the centre circle huddle on the pitch before they go and do their post-match interviews, which you'll hear live over on Talksport 2, live over on Talksport, and we'll bring you here on Talksport 2 as well. Our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk in the tunnel waiting for Serena Wiegman and her players to come out and give their reaction to this huge result. I want to go through it, but there was one moment that stood out in the game for me that felt like was the turning point. On the 85th minute, Joe Shannon said in commentary she had extra time on her right boot. That volley from 6 yards out wide by Sam Kerr at 2-1 to bring Australia potentially back into it was massive.
It was, and I was just waiting for the net to ripple. You know, it's a chance that you want it to fall to anybody. You want it to fall to Sam Kerr in that situation, and 9 times out of 10 she puts it in the back of the net, and she will be her biggest critic. You know, I'm seeing scenes right now at her on the field of play. She's been amazing for this team, obviously having that injury, stepping up in the last game to take a penalty, and the reason why they even got back into this game was based upon that unbelievable goal, probably goal of the tournament, or one of them, that we saw from her, because Australia weren't getting anywhere near England, and when Sam Kerr scored that, definitely it changed the momentum of the game. But what I will say, she'll be disappointed for that one. She'll watch it back time and time again. She's probably already replaying it in her head time and time again, because as a player, that's what you do.
Sporting history made, and you mentioned in your commentary that actually we got to a point where game management was really important, and we've seen from this England side previously that they've not quite managed the emotions of a frenetic, stressful game. It really felt as if they did that today.
They did, and you've only got to look at Chloe Kelly. You know, I was laughing to myself because I could see she was going to bring that second ball back on the field of play, and she did it and picked up a yellow card. England wouldn't have done that 5 years ago. We were too nice. You know, we were very physical from the get-go. You could see Alex Green were picking up that yellow card after 10 minutes on Sam Kerr. It was a terrible tackle, but those are the things you have to do. Physicality, get tight to their best players. You know, going into the game, in the back of their minds, they know that Sam Kerr would have been had that injury and would have been thinking that in the back of their minds. But England, you know, we can win dirty now. And I kind of like that to a certain degree. You have to win. Doesn't always have to be the perfect performance. You know, ultimately you want to win the game. And I said that throughout the tournament, didn't we, Faye? We said it on the pod and we've said it on air. We topped the group. Everybody was saying, oh, you know, England are not playing that well. The fact that we've not played that well and got to this point is amazing.
I felt as if today was the complete performance, though. I felt as if we kind of had everything. When Georgia Stanway put that first shot wide in the opening stages of the first half, I thought, oh no, don't be doing this. But that gorgeous ball from Ella Toone, we wanted more from her, we got more from her. Then Lauren Hemp, who's just been phenomenal. I think she was player of the match for me, without a doubt. And then she sets up Alessia Russo on the counter to make it 3-1. I just felt defensively we had everything. You know, at one point, fantastic Jess Carter mopping up after Mary Ertz had saved from the substitute Courtney Vine as well. Defensively, in midfield and up front, we had it all.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and start talking about the back line giving away the ball, because I feel like we did. But because I'm going to celebrate the fact we're in the final, Faye. You know, ultimately, that's all that matters right now. I think Lauren Hemp, absolutely brilliant. We all expected her to have this type of tournament the last Euros. She didn't. It was Beth Mead's tournament. Now that Beth Mead isn't there, she's definitely stepped up and she's been absolutely brilliant. Alessia Russo, again as well. There was a lot of pressure on her coming into this tournament, and she stepped up when they really need her. 3 goals now, you know, in the deciding games. That's why you have your number 9s in there, the best ones, because they score when you really need them. It's all very well scoring against North Macedonia with 10-0, 15-0, those things, but when it really matters, Alessia Russo has stepped up, and fair play to Ella Toone. I was critical of her, you know, and I think rightfully so. I don't think she had her best 2 games, and that's why Serena Vima did take her out the lineup. Serena brings her back in, absolutely brilliant. That strike Ella Toone had, and it was absolutely brilliant. No backlift, pinged it top corner, brilliant.
It was absolutely fantastic. Tonight from 6 o'clock, by the way, myself and Leanne Sanderson will be here on Talksport 2 for the Women's World Cup show. We'll bring you all the reaction from this game. We'll hear from the England camp as they prepare to face Spain in the next game. The final, in fact, sporting history made here on Talksport 2. That's the Women's World Cup show tonight from 6 right here on Talksport 2, available as a podcast as well. Next, we'll continue assessing England's performance, and if we manage to hear from any of the Lionesses in the tunnel with our reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, you'll hear them first here. Well, this is Talksport 2. You're listening to Women's World Cup Live as England makes sporting history, reaching their first World Cup final since 1966. Faye Carruthers and Leanne Sanderson with you, analysing that incredible 3-1 victory for England. They're heading to Stadium Australia again on Sunday, facing Spain in the final. You can hear it live over on Talksport. We're building up from 10 a.m. in the morning, and kickoff will be at 11 a.m. Leanne Sanderson, I cannot wait for Sunday. I feel like I've not quite recovered from this game, first of all, but Spain are going to be the opponents. How do you see this game playing out?
Yeah, I think obviously we beat them in the Euros last summer, but I think this is a different Spain team. We spoke a lot about their off-the-field stuff with regards to 12 players not being there, but the 3 that have decided to go in their starting 11, and they're a top team. I think they look different to a certain degree to last summer. They seem to have that bite back to them. The quality we know is there with them, with Bon Mati. Lexi Putellas is obviously coming off that injury, had minimal minutes, but it'll be a difficult game for us, I really do think. But you know, we were just talking about it now. We're trying to get all our emotions together after doing this game. And it's like anything that's thrown at this Lionesses, they seem to be able to handle anything. And it reminds me of how the US Women's National Team have been for the last 20 or 30 years, you know, not getting carried away. But you can see Serena Wiegman is building something. You can see the foundations are there, that the resilience, like whatever's thrown at them, Faye, they overcome it. You know, whether that be Kira Walsh getting injured, someone else comes in, you know, playing in front of 75,000, mostly Australian fans, they overcame that. That's not an easy thing to do. I know it happens in the men's game all the time, but not in the women's game, so to speak. It's only been the last couple of years where everybody has been at these games, and these players just seem to be able to overcome anything. And that's credit to all the staff at England as well, because there's a lot of stuff that goes off the field of play that you do in meeting rooms, you do all those types of things that set you up for these moments, and that has to be down to Serena Wiegman and what she has done, because since she came in after Phil Neville, it's been a miraculous turnaround.
But it is down to Serena Wiegman. She's brought this belief, you know, the success that she had with the Netherlands previously, winning the European Championship, getting to a final and ultimately losing it to the USA in 2019. She has this winning mentality that she's managed to project onto these Lionesses. And I've just been having a look at all the post-match interviews coming in. By the way, we will bring you the Lionesses as soon as we hear from them. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, our England reporter, is in the tunnel waiting to speak to everyone involved in this game. And I've just seen Lucy Bronze, England's defender, speaking after the match, saying that they had such belief in them that their families have already booked to be staying there because they all believed they could get all the way. And we've talked on our Women's World Cup show, Leanne, and on all the build up to the games that we've been doing live on Talksport about this kind of different style of England side that we've not necessarily seen the best of them in this tournament, but they just find a way to win nowadays, which they didn't before.
Yeah, they do, and I think the way the games are being managed, and I think during the tournament, you know, there was a different team. We started in a back 4, almost a back 5 in the first game against Haiti, and then we've gone to a 3, adapted during the tournament. Lauren James also picking up that red card, missing 2 games. You know, those types of adversity things that happen that are out of Serena Wiegman's control, and the players just seem to kind of come alive. Nothing seems to really faze them, and we said it before against Colombia, even when they scored, they wasn't really celebrating. Even when Ella Toone scored, she ran off celebrating, but it wasn't over the top. It was almost like, we still know we've got to take care of business. And it wasn't until Alessia Russo really scored that 3rd goal that we finally saw the team actually celebrate in an unbelievable way. And I respect that, because I don't want anyone to get carried away. I think these players have come here to win the tournament, and I genuinely believe they believed it before the tournament, and they're believing it even more now. They're in the final.
It felt like a relief, didn't it? That's what it felt like. It felt like a big weight had been lifted off the shoulders, because Ella Toone's goal, as you say, she celebrated with her arms up, but immediately Rachel Daly was over with an arm round her, whispering in her ear, you know, focus, keep at it. There's still a long way to go. And it felt like when that Alessia Russo goal went in, this huge wave of emotion just kind of came out of all of them, which was just a joy to watch.
Yeah, it was. And a lot of these players, you know, you sacrifice quite a lot to play, especially for your country. It's the biggest honour, but you know, you're away from your family, and to be able to do this right on home soil in Australia in front of 75,000, I think is quite remarkable. And I think these players will enjoy these moments. They'll be focused tomorrow. You know, they let them enjoy tonight with their families, with their friends, because this doesn't come along very often. There's a reason why it hasn't happened since 1966. So I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to speak about the Lionesses, as we all do, Faye, for the next, you know, at least until Sunday and after. Hopefully we can bring it home for sure, because this is amazing what these players are doing.
It really is, and I feel as if they've got enough to push it over and actually go that next step further, because they want it so badly, and they know that they've managed to do it by not necessarily playing at their their absolute best, but they love proving critics wrong as well, and they know that actually some of the narrative, which I have to say is probably a good thing because it means that people are critical of them because they've been so successful. They expect so much, which is really key, but these Lionesses are like, no, we'll show you, we're not going to listen to this noise.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's welcomed. I think as a player you want people to analyse you. It doesn't mean that everyone's always right, it's just a matter of opinions, and I think I think the Lionesses are quite fortunate they're not Gareth Southgate in the men's team, because the criticism they come under is quite remarkable. So I think the eyes are on the Lionesses, which is fantastic. Alessia Russo spoke about blocking out the outside noise, focusing on what's in the dressing room, and I think sometimes you have to have a little bit of luck, like we did last summer when Alex Pop got injured in the warm-up, those types of things. But this tournament, I think teams are scared of us now, Faye. I really do. I think these Australians in the first half, they couldn't get anywhere near us. They were so flat, and I think we all expected Australia to come out completely different than what they did. Their quality wasn't there. They weren't first and second to all the balls. England were, and I think as the game went on, apart from the Sam Kerr goal, they kind of got their foot in the game for 5 minutes or so. After that, England just took it to another level. Alessia Russo scored, and then they could celebrate, and I love it so much, Faye. It's so great that we're in the final.
It really is, and I'm watching the scenes at Box Park at the minute when that winning goal went in from Alessia Russo, and it's just incredible to see this. We were all part of it in the European Championships last year, and it's just the most incredible journey to be on, watching these players go on and make history as they do. Leanne, we have a World Cup show to record. It's tonight from 6 o'clock. It's on Talksport 2, the Women's World Cup show. We're going to bring you all the reaction from England's semi-final win over Australia and look ahead to England's first World Cup final since 1966, where the Lionesses will face Spain on Sunday. That's the Women's World Cup show tonight from 6 right here on Talksport 2 and available as a podcast. Leanne, I shall see you very shortly to record that.
See you in a minute. I'm going to run up right now.
Wonderful. Looking forward to seeing you. So the Lionesses made history last summer, becoming European champions. That next step has been made. They're into their first ever Women's World Cup final, and they're one step away from bringing the World Cup back home. You've been with us throughout this journey. Stay with us on the Talksport network. We'll bring you live commentary of England's first World Cup final since 1966 on Sunday morning on Talksport. It's an 11 o'clock kickoff. We'll be building up from 10. These Lionesses just can't stop writing history, can they? The Matildas waltz comes to an end. England will face Spain in their first Women's World Cup final. The flamenco is next. Come and rule them on with us here on Talksport.